here. Give me a second. I know the sound is wrong. Hold on. Got to do some things here. And then we're going to get everything started. Of course not. Of course. Why the? Here we go. Hold on. We got to. Every day we go through. Not every day. Not every day. I got to talk into the computer mic. Here's the thing. It was. What the fuck is happening? I have no fucking idea what's happening. What am I listening to? The fuck am I listening to? The fuck am I listening to? All right. Is this better? Are we good now? I'm sorry. That is, of course, our. Well, no, we're not good. We're still not good. Yeah. All right. Nothing works. Yeah, it's not the, Try it one more time. Try it one more motherfucking time. God damn it. Motherfucker, let's go. Come on. Get in there. Nope. Still not recognizing the motherfucking Zoom box. This is not how we like to start the show. I am so pissed off today, guys. You just wait until we get the mic working right. You just wait. Nope. Nope. Still not doing it. You know what I got to do? Here's what I got to do. I'll show you what I got to fucking do. Leap by. All right, everybody. All right, the microphone's back now. I apologize for that, but I got to do something with the camera now. So give me a second, and then we'll get the show started. Oh, my God. All right, we're back. We're back with Ed, the guy in charge, going, it's really not a restream problem. Oh, I know. I know it's not a restream problem. It's a I don't know what the problem is. It sure as fuck ain't me, though, because I do the same fucking thing every day, and then in the middle of the fucking show, the whole show goes out. We do it every day. Everyone in the chat room can fucking, I'm just sitting here talking, and then all of a sudden, the computer goes, no more camera, no more Zoom box, no more. It does it every fucking day. So I know it's not a restream problem. It's something else, and it is frustrating as fuck. Okay, there you go. Let's see. Ed follows that up with, I wouldn't call it an error. He knows what to do. He's been doing it for years, but when you really wound up, it's easy to do things in the right. No, that's not it. And I appreciate you. And you know what my limitations are. But I think you also know that if I do a step-by-step thing for, 4 fucking years the same way, I can get it down because I'm not a fucking retard. See, the problem is, and it'll happen, and I'm glad you're here. Me and Ed just having a conversation now. And I'm glad, it'll happen here. I'll be talking like this, and all of a sudden the camera will go out, and then suddenly the Zoom box will break down. It'll go down, and it'll knock me up. It happens every day. I just deal with it. But that's why we come here, because I am so easily triggered. I'm the most easily triggered motherfucker on the planet. And let me tell you, coming into today's show, I was already amped up. Spent my drive in today. First, this is how my day started. My day started, I put the car on, the radio, right? All of a sudden, Spotify jumped in, and Bruce Springsteen's State Trooper came on the radio. And I just started driving. And I don't know if you're a Springsteen fan, you know about the mood that fucking song is going to be. It's the story of Charles Starkweather, murderer. The song, it's pretty cool. Hey, State Trooper, please don't stop me. Because you see, the driver, the narrator, Bruce, in the song, is driving as Charles Starkweather, the famed serial killer. And he sees a cop behind him, and the cop is going to pull him over. And Charles Starkweather just, look, he's going to kill him if he has to, but he doesn't really want to kill the cop. So Charles Starkweather is driving in the song State Trooper, singing, hey, State Trooper, please don't stop me. You got a wife and kids and a pretty wife and all that. Oh, it's a great song. Oh, it's a great song. Anyway, welcome, folks. Everything seems to be okay right now, right up until the moment that the camera goes out and the mics go out and all of that. But that's coming. We know. Yesterday, it took 47 minutes. Usually, it takes about 15 minutes, but that's okay. We're going to get through it. If I'm being honest, it's probably a chord issue. I'm thinking it's a chord issue. It's okay. I got a million chords. I've tried different chords. How is everybody? I hope you guys are in a better mood than I am, because I'll tell you, I am prickly today. Let's talk about what we're going to get into today, okay? Remember all those years ago when I started this show and I said, hey, this is a non-political show. The show is no longer going to be, no longer, but this is a non-political show. I don't want to get into right and left politics and all of that stuff. So, okay, so I don't get into right and left politics, but I do get into middle politics. And I got to tell you, I got some fucking things to say from the reasonable middle that you people need to hear. Yeah, so we'll get into all of that stuff. We're gonna talk a lot about this president of ours today. We are, I know, I try to avoid it, but I'm sorry, it's unavoidable. It is unavoidable. Do you know what's going on in China right now? China is just, welcoming a fucking parade of world leaders who used to be our allies, who are now like, yeah, I guess we can't do business with America anymore. China, let's sit down and talk. Yeah, that's fucking happening. We've got a president who is sending people in the streets of Iran to their slaughter. And then, of course, because he's the con man in charge, backing up on the promise that he was going to defend them should the Iranian government start killing them. Yeah, now Trump's like, I don't think they're killing them. Did the same motherfucker who told you that information give you the information about Putin? Remember Putin? I don't know. Putin says that there's nothing wrong. But, sir, your own intelligence agencies say that Putin's lying. I don't know. I trust Putin. So I got a lot of shit going on. We also got video. We're gonna do multiple video breakdowns. I found a really awesome synced multi-angle video of the incident that occurred last week in Minneapolis, where that woman, Renee Good, got shot in the face. Remember, she was trying to run over the cop. He had internal bleedings. Did he? Did he have internal bleedings? Because that story's now 36 hours old. That guy, Ross, the fucking cop, the thug, that guy, story's like 36 years old, 36 days. We're going to reset. The story about him having internal bleedings, the story about him having internal bleeding is now 36 hours old. And, yet to hear from a doctor, yet to hear from a hospital. Journalists are bending over backwards to find a doctor that will go on record on CNN or wherever and say, yeah, that's true. He had internal bleedings. They can't do it. Bleedings. Why did I do that again? What is that verbal acne where I can't say verbal bleeding? I almost did it again. I'm a mess, guys. I'm a guess. I'm a mess. You know what it is. You know, one of the primary reasons for today's crazy rage is, told you yesterday that here at the beautiful Kelly Moore North Studios in swinging downtown sunny Burbank, south side of Chicago, told you yesterday I discovered the coffee pot. That's going to be a problem because I have doubled my morning coffee intake since discovering the coffee pot here. And I'm pissing more and I'm jacked up like never before. May as well be doing coke here in front of y'all. Normalize that. We're also going to do a list of things that have been normalized. This came to me last night. Last night I'm watching the news. Actually, I wasn't watching the news. I was slaying fuck sticks on Twitter. That's what I do now. And the only thing that I do on Twitter now is fuck with fucking people. Blue Sky is where I go and be normal. Blue Sky, Pugs Moran. Follow me all over, all the socials. Pugs Moran or Pugs & Co. Radio Misfits is also a good thing to follow because I'm all over that. So I made a list of things. I'm watching the news last night. And it's like, breaking news. Somebody else got shot by a federal agent in Minneapolis. Cool. And I didn't even stick around to see the play game. I just flipped. I'm like, I wonder if I should finish watching Landman now. That's an indication of normalization. That is an indication of something that has been fucking normalized in my mind. Guys, we spent 40 years clutching our pearls over Kent State. And now within 2 weeks, we've had like 2 examples of federal jackbooted thugs using taxpayer weapons to murder citizens. In 40 years, we were like, Kent State. 10 soldiers and Nixon's calling. We're finally on our own. This summer I hear the calling. For dead in Ohio. They wrote fucking songs about Kent State. There ain't time to write songs about this shit because another person gets shot every couple of days now. Normalized. So what I did was this morning, I spent a little bit of time trying to think of things that have been normalized, things that we just go, yeah, that's fine. That is like, no, it's not fine. It's not political. It's not a political list. It's a list of societal things that we just accept. I'll give you an example of one of the normalized things that we're going to talk about here. I don't know where it comes in on the list. I'll have to check. But circumcision. We have normalized the idea of just take what? Well, we'll get into it. Anyway, that's another idea. Circumcision is normalized. Got a whole list. I'll share with you today. And in the chat room, I would love to hear some of your things that you've observed that have for some reason become normalized. All right. Did you share the show today? Did you share the show? Did you like the show? Are you helping the algorithm? Are you getting more involved? I've got to be way more strict on this. Way more demanding. I mean, I'm not going to issue an order. The president last night ordered all the governors in the country to what did he do? Something, I don't know what it was. I don't even know what it was. Something stupid. But he ordered all the governors in the country to do something, and I'm like, hey, I'm an old school Republican conservative. I remember state rights. Now we got MAGA ordering governors. Oh, the federales, they're taking all the control. All right, what else we got? Oh, you know what I got? I've got a little more information about that story that we did yesterday. Remember the fucked up, bizarre, eyes wide shut party that was happening at Mar-a-Lago? Well, we've got information on that now. Yeah, if you weren't with us yesterday, we showed video from Mar-a-Lago over the weekend. A bunch of people dressed as animals in Victorian era ball gowns, celebrating. I think it was a let them eat cake party or something like that. Anyway, we've got more information about what that whole thing was. So we'll talk about that. We'll watch the video again because it was just so fucking funny, so weird. What else do we have here? Oh, hey, here's a question because I saw this last night. We'll take a look at this. Why can't Elon Musk get hot chicks? What is up with this fucking guy? This guy should be like, every time he's photographed, he should have like a 15 on his arm, right? He's Elon Musk. He can pay for it. Yet for somehow, he seems to be drawn to just, chicks who worked at Hooters for a summer. I mean, that's like, what is going on? I mean, and I'll tell you why this happened. Yesterday on the news, I'm cooking dinner, making my salad. I'm eating nothing but salads because I'm a fat fuck who's probably going to drop dead any second. So now I'm just eating salads. And by the way, these salads that I'm eating, they're not great. They got eggs, they got ham, they got chicken, they got cheese, whatever. I mean, a 2,500 calorie salad every day, but hey, heart healthy and whatnot. So I'm making my salad last night and I see, I think it was old Erin Burnett on CNN. She had Ashley St. Clair, who was one of Elon Musk's baby mamas. We've all seen pictures of Ashley St. Clair. I can't do it. She's very, very attractive in the pictures that we've seen of Ashley St. Clair. She was on the news last night, and I'm like, mid at best. Holy shit. It's the Instagram generation of girls using, filters and all that kind of shit to amplify whatever it is they're working with into something that is deceptive to us horny guys. And I'm calling foul. So we're going to check her out. And also, just how weird must Elon Musk be if he can't fucking get a hot chick? I mean, we all know that he can pay for it if he wanted. A guy like him doesn't even have to pay for it. I mean, just a chick hanging out with him for a couple of days is going to experience the luxury of, a million fantasies. We'll talk about that. Also, we're going to do football stuff. We got some football stuff. We got to talk about Ryan Clark out there race baiting. That's right. Yeah, race baiting. Can we get post-race? I thought Obama promised we were going post-racial. And just the opposite happened, huh? So we'll talk about Ryan Clark and his comments regarding Mike Tomlin and the blowback that he's receiving over that. We'll also do a second video breakdown on today's show of the handshake. Yeah, I'm a Bears fan. I'm freaking obsessed with, everything Bears right now. Don't even care about what happens this weekend, though. We're good. I explained it last night to a friend of mine, and I think I also tweeted this. I said, the Bears beating the Packers last Saturday night to win a playoff game, the first playoff game that we've won since 2010, and understanding that in that 2010 season, we lost in the championship game, the NFC championship game, to the Green Bay motherfucking Packers. So that's why I say this game last Saturday was our Super Bowl. We didn't expect anything this season, and all of a sudden we're winning games and we're in the postseason. We won the division. Oh, it's great. But then we had to face down the Packers, and every Bear fan went, fuck, this is how everything gets ruined. This is how the entire season gets ruined. All the fun, all the comebacks, it gets ruined because the Packers win by 2 in Soldier Field. That was our fear. It didn't happen. We won. So it was like our Super Bowl. So heading into this week, we're like, whatever. I told my friend, I go, look, that Packers game was like an orgasm. It was like we finally orgasmed, okay? Now all Bear fans want are a cigarette and maybe to order a pizza. Try and find the remote. Is Sports Center on? I'm gonna put Sports Center on. Is that cool? You want a pizza? We're gonna get a pizza. I don't even smoke, so I don't want a cigarette, but you know what I mean. There we go. We're gonna get into a whole list of normalized things. Barney's got one. Face tattoos. How the fuck did that become a thing? I'll go one step further. Tattoos. How the hell did tattoos become a thing? Well, I blame metal. Looking at you, Ross Rubio. You metal people back in the 80s, you started doing tattoos. And then all of a sudden, because you metal weirdos were like getting your metal stink all over our mainstream hot chicks, then suddenly Pam Anderson gets that fucking stupid barbed wire tattoo. By the way, that's a fun thing to observe in society now. Like when you see a fucking 60-year-old woman with the barbed wire tattoo, that's hysterical. You made an impulse decision back in 96 to try and be Pam Anderson. Now look at you, Grandma. Grandma's got a barbed wire tattoo. Grandma's got a tramp stamp. Let's not kid ourselves. All right, that's a good one, Barney. Face tattoos, but tattoos in general. Suddenly that became normal. Do you know who had tattoos in 1983? When I was a little kid, you know who had tattoos in 1983? Merchant Marines, convicts, and Mexican gang members. That was it. Whores. That's right. Whores had tattoos, like a boob tat. A boob tat in the 1980s was always like, oh, you're a whore because you're somebody's bitch. That's who had tattoos in 1983. And now suddenly it's like your grandma has a tramp stamp. That's a good one, Barney. That's a good one. Kevin says those effing ear discs that deform your lobes. Oi. I'm glad to hear Kevin say that, because I gotta say, I thought that this was a me problem. I thought that my ears were misshapen, because there are all kinds of earbud type contraptions that don't fit in my ears. They either hurt or they fall out real easily. So that's a good one too. Let's see. All right, we're looking for more. We'll do that. We'll do that in a couple of minutes here. We'll do that quickly. Get into my list, the list that I've compiled of things that we have normalized. Stream's being weird. All right. Let's see what else we're gonna do. By the way, some of my list of normalized things that we'll be delving into, some of these things are serious, but some of them are stupid and just irritating. So be prepared for that. Let's see what else. We did that. China's a problem. We're gonna do the video. Oh, we're also going to listen to some. Look, guys. What am I? I don't know, man. You want to know what I am? I am a guy who grew up inside the Chicago Democratic political machine. That's who I am. That's who my family was. My grandpa was a precinct captain and very involved in the whole election process and getting the neighbors out to vote. My grandmother was a secretary in the mayor's office. They were connected. We lived across the street from the mayor's cousins. My family was deeply entrenched in the Chicago Democratic political machine. The machine that got Kennedy elected, the machine that got Carter elected, the machine that point is this. That's my background. South Side, Irish Catholic machine Democrat. That's what I am. That's what I am. Now, to your Texas ears or whatever, you might hear that. He's a Democrat. I knew he was a liberal. Fuck you. You don't know what a Chicago machine Democrat is. You have no fucking idea. They ain't liberal, man. What they are is entirely in favor of the working class, the middle class, the people who work. Now, over the years, there were some problems, but that's where I come from. That's my political ideology. It is rooted in what is best for the working man, not the impoverished, not the super wealthy, the people who get up at 5 o'clock in the morning on snowy days to warm the car up. Those fucking people are who I am politically, ideologically in line with, okay? And that's what Chicago machine Democrats were. Now, California Democrats turned it into the whole libtard thing that so many people get freaked out about. They got some good ideas. The whole fucking belief that you got to just dismiss everything because it comes from the left in California, that's nonsense. You're being stupid and you're playing team politics. Same goes for the right. They got some good ideas. But it's us in the middle. It's like I think about the people that I grew up with. The people who were inside that old Richard J. Daley Chicago Democratic machine kind of political system. Half of those people are probably MAGA now, right? Because they are looking for something that appeals to the middle class, the working class, not the middle class. I shouldn't say the middle class. Middle class is out in the suburbs. They go on nice vacation. The fucking working class. The guy who works for streets and sanitation. The cop, the fireman, the working class. The nurses, the teachers, those people. That's how MAGA won. That is how MAGA won, by appealing to those people with pie in the sky dreams and promises. Then, because what does the rich guys do? They lied and they pulled it all back, and now they're just doing whatever the fuck they wanted because you people got duped into giving power to the wrong people. That's what's happening. So again, I just feel I need to always let you know where I am politically. I voted for Republicans. I voted for George W. Bush the second time. I was voting and supporting on the radio in Texas John McCain against Barack Obama in 2008, right up until the moment John McCain grabbed Sarah Palin. That's when I said, nope, I'm out. She's nuts. This is fucking crazy. That's the biggest. You ask me, rat bastards on the right will tell you that John McCain's, defining moment is when he did the thumbs up, thumbs down on Obamacare. No, fuck you. Unfortunately for the great American hero, John McCain, his defining moment is going with the advisors in choosing Sarah Palin. That's what lost him the election. He went against his better judgment and went with his advisors who told him, dumb it down. Get a fucking hot chick that dumb fucking men will think is hot and they'll vote for you. That was the advice John McCain took, and that's why he lost to Barack Obama. I was with him right up until that moment. I'm like, no, fuck this. I can't do this. I voted straight Democrat ever since. Straight Democrat ever since. Am I a libtard? Fuck you. No, I'm not. No, come on, let's have a beer. You tell me if you think I'm a fucking libtard. No, what I am is I'm not a brain-dead moron who's manipulated by empty promises from a fucking billionaire. That's who I'm not. But many of you are. Many of you are. Maybe many of you were. We welcome you back. We're providing an off-ramp. Just come. Just stop it. Stop retweeting nonsense. Stop it. All right. Let's see. What else do we want to do here? Is there anything else we're going to get to? Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. We got videos. You know how the show goes. We just pretty much, we flow. I've got an outline, but we flow. All right, let's go. First, breaking news. This happened earlier today, and I wanted to mention this because it plays into our theme of normalizing things. Secretary Kristi Noem, old hot pants. I'd like to do, what we're going to do? We're going to do a draft of MAGA dumb bitches who look super hot in blue jeans. We're going to do a draft of that. Because that's one of the things about dumb MAGA bitches who have suddenly been given a platform and some influence. They all look fucking great in blue jeans. They're all dumb as a bag of hammers and completely incompetent in the jobs they've been tasked with, but they all look great in blue jeans. We'll do that draft sometime. Kristi Noem would be a high draft pick. She looks good in blue jeans. Lauren Boebert, Bobert, Bumpert, Flumpert, whatever the fuck her name is. She looks good in blue jeans too. Who else, chat room? What MAGA bit? Oh, that crazy chick we got in Texas. That Anna Paulina Luna, who she's going to end up in handcuffs. Mark my words. She's exactly the kind of person we're not going to forget, and we'll come for. We'll find something on her later in life. She'll be involved in some insurance scam or some big con. We'll get her. But she looks good in blue jeans. Secretary Noem and her blue jeans. Speaking of normalization, she said today that Americans may be asked to validate their identity. It's just something she's putting out there, normalizing the idea that Americans will be asked to see your papers. Do you have papers? Well, now let's be honest. Come on. It's not a problem for us. So I'm never going to be asked for my papers. You're not going to ask me. Al, however, and Adam Reyna, you guys probably going to get asked for your papers, and just accept that that's normal now in America for your identity and your citizenship to be questioned by federal authorities who are well armed and hiding behind a badge. All right, Adam, I'm not going to argue with you. It's why he lost my fucking vote. You want to argue? It is why he lost. Moving on. Adam wants to break down the 2008 election. Just shut the fuck up and go with it, man. Show me your papers, Adam. How you feel? That sucks, doesn't it? Born here, as American as anyone I know, Adam Reyna is an American. He leans into his First Amendment right to offer his opinion at any moment. Show me your papers. Al Gamboa, though, I think Al might be okay, and I'll tell you why. Because I know Al and I love Al, but I think that Al is Italian. In my mind, Al is Italian. So, that's right, Maddie. You ain't getting asked for your papers either because you are a pretty blonde, mid-30s, whatever, I don't know, young lady. You will not be asked for your papers. Let's go through the room. Let's see who's going to get asked for papers. Let me see. Barney with the face tattoo. Barney ain't going to be asked for his papers. Nah. But Barney probably supports asking other people for their papers. I'm sure. We are slowly and incrementally normalizing the things that we used to demonize about fascist authoritarian regimes. Show me your papers, Kristi Noem said with a big smile and a hot ass and some tight blue jeans. You're 54, Maddie? Oh, my goodness. First of all, kudos to Maddie for being a woman who's confident enough to be, honest about her age. That's one thing. But really? Wow. I thought you were much younger than me. I thought you were like you. Anyway, moving on. So, yeah, show me your papers. Breaking news, Kristi Noem. Secretary of, what is she? Homeland Security, rounding up brown people. Secretary of rounding up brown people is now letting Americans know that you may be asked to validate your identity. The show me your papers statement was made today, and it barely made a blip. Barely made a fucking blip. Well, we got CNN on right here. They mentioned it, but, that's how shit gets normalized. That's how shit gets normalized. When it comes up, if we don't fucking immediately push back, stop it down, mock it, make it the most uncool notion in the world, if we don't do that, then it happens again. And people go, well, that's not shocking because it just happened last week. I'll give you an example. I always use this as an example. The Malaysian airliner that disappeared. Remember when that thing disappeared? That was shocking. But it disappeared and it went away. And now the idea that we can get in a plane and just disappear is normalized because it's happened before. And we're like, yeah, that happens. That does it. It happens. Normalization. Had another shooting last night. That's what started the whole normalization list. Had another shooting last night. Minneapolis. So Pugs doesn't sound like he has the facts right. Yeah, well, neither does the federal authorities. Okay, I don't know. We don't know what to believe anymore. I know the federal authorities came out with, an explanation as to what happened in Minnesota last night, and I rolled my eyes upon hearing it. Not believing a goddamn thing that your Justice Department or your FBI or your CI or whatever says has become normalized. Now, some of you are cynical. Cynicism has also become normalized and mainstreamed. Some of you are cynical, would say, Pugs, we never trusted the government. Well, I fucking did. I did. I had trust in the institutions. I knew that they were politically sleazy when it came to trying to get votes and promises made during campaignings. But when they were actually in the job, yes, until very recently, I would listen to what the FBI or the Justice Department says officially and go, okay, I bet you there is some truth to that. Now, can't do it anymore. Can't do it anymore. That nothing that they say, nothing is given credibility by me. So, when they come out and say he was a Venezuelan criminal who attacked us, I'm like, yeah, okay, fuck you. He might have been just a brown kid getting high in his car. We don't know. See, here's the thing, though. No video. I haven't seen any video of it. No brave citizen captured this, so we are at the mercy of whatever those people say happened, and we know how that goes because we had video of the shooting that occurred last week, and they still gave an explanation that didn't match up with the widely distributed video that we all saw. Normalizing all of this bullshit. So what was the story? Apparently, is a teenage. Was he a teenager? I don't even know. I don't even fucking care. Some obviously brown kid in Minneapolis got fucked with agents. They said it was a targeted stop. What is a targeted stop? What's the definition of targeted stop? Because when I think of a targeted stop, it's they're in the offices of the ICE and they're going through a list of things they got to do today. And they say, we're looking for this person. Let's find him. We are targeting this person. That's what I think a targeted stop is. But a targeted stop in these people's minds might just be they're driving around and go, there's a brown guy. Let's target him. So I don't know what the fuck a targeted stop means from these people. And neither do you. We know what we want it to believe, but we don't actually know what it represents. Targeted stop. He resisted. Let me tell you, I've seen enough raw body cam videos to know that he resisted is the most nonsense thing that you can read in a police report of an incident. Second most, the first one is I smelt marijuana. That's the other one that's total bullshit. You been smoking some reefer in here? No, I don't smoke reefer. Step out of the car. I now have probable cause to search and toss everything in your possession. Because I, the cop, I think I smell reefer. Normalized oppression. Oh, well, you know how those brown people are. If that's what you're saying, fuck you, get out of here. I don't need you here. Don't want you here. Don't want you here. You're dumb. And there are plenty of other streams that you can enjoy. Might I suggest Tim Pool or Nick Fuentes, you fucking idiots? We're American citizens. You either believe that all men are created equal, you either believe that or you don't. And I have questions as to whether or not Jefferson believed that, considering he had slaves. But hey, we muddle through. We try to make sense of it all as best we can. All right, let's go into a list of things that have been normalized. All right, I put together a nice little list here. These are things that have been normalized. We've got Seth. Seth is in the chat room. I love it. Thank you for participating, Seth. By the way, before we get into this, hey, Frank Smith, you are absolutely going to be asked for your papers. Welcome to America. Oh, you were born here? I don't believe it. Show me your papers. Show me your papers. I don't think you're an American. Where you think you're going, fucking kid? Where you going, Frank? Go stand over there with Adam. Go stand over there with Al. Although Al, we're cutting loose because Al's going to claim he's Italian. I'm telling you, you can do that, Al. You can claim that last name as Italian. All right, Seth says in the chat room, subscriptions to everything have been normalized. Software, movies, music, razors, audiobooks, food delivery, apps. Absolutely, that is a good one. That is a banger. Subscriptions are so out of hand. Direct or not? What are they called? Debit, automatic debiting from your account is so out of hand that there is a multi-billion-dollar industry now that serves to get your situation straight. Have you seen these commercials? Are you paying for monthly subscriptions that you don't even know you have? Yeah, we all are, because it's so easy to sign up. It's so easy. And we fucking forget. That's a really good one, Seth. I appreciate it. Let's see here. He also says weed has been normalized pretty much everywhere. No, it hasn't. Yeah, I disagree with you on this one. See, I giveth and I taketh away. I do not agree with you on that. Weed has not been normal. Weed is still demonized. There are still people active in the government right now trying to slow roll Trump from making it a federal fucking act that people can smoke weed if they want. It hasn't been normalized. It hasn't. There is still a very strong distinction to be made between alcohol and weed. And the only distinction that I think ought to be made between alcohol and weed is that weed is far better for you. Alcohol causes far more problems than weed. But, you know, we've normalized the idea that one is the devil's lettuce and the other is all American. Hey, we're watching the World Series. How about this commercial from Budweiser? Where's Hugh? Hugh had something fun to say. Here it is. Hugh said they will eventually be asking Irish dudes like me and Hugh for our IDs too. Yeah, no, don't diminish the problem, Hugh. I think Hugh, you and I, we've partied together, we've hung out. Hugh, you and I are never going to get asked for our papers, dude. Dude, we are never going to get asked for our papers, okay? Look at this. This is called fish belly white. We're lucky. We're lucky. We're never going to be inconvenienced like that. And I'm telling you, it's wrong. I'm telling you, as someone who is never going to be inconvenienced like that I don't think other people should be inconvenienced like that either. And if you don't think that way, you're a piece of shit. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Fun with Frank. Okay. Fun with Frank. Frank says that cannabis is safe for 97% of users over the age of 24 with developed brains. Cite your source, Sarah. I don't know what the hell you're 97. Where'd you come up with that number? Where's that from? You know? Cannabis is safe for everybody. Nobody, Frank, has ever died from cannabis. People have died from doing things while high, but that's not the same thing. People have died while smoking cigarettes. That's not the same fucking thing. Nobody does too much weed that they die. However, people can drink too much alcohol and end up dead from alcohol poisoning. No such fucking thing as weed poisoning. So I don't know where this 97% is. This what, like 3% of people with like some kind of rare, you know, twisted cell disease that they react in some weird way. If that is what you're saying, then I'd like to see those exact same numbers as they apply to alcohol. I'd like to know how many people, what is the percentage of people that can safely drink alcohol? This is kind of bullshit. Cannabis is safer than all of the other intoxicants that we are being charged for, whether it's legally buying alcohol or all the fucking fun prescriptions that our doctors are more than willing to write for us. But anybody can grow weed. See, that's the problem. Anybody can grow weed in their backyard. We don't need to pay Miller or anybody like that. We can just grow it, so it's got to be illegal. Normalization of bullshit is another thing we've normalized. All right, let's get started. Here is my list of things that we have normalized, things that occur, and we go, that's fine because it's the way it is. That's essentially the definition of normalization. Here you go. We've normalized this idea, Cobra. Do you guys know what Cobra is? I hope you don't. But if you lose your job, you're going to find out really quick what fucking Cobra is. Cobra is the Consolidated Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act. Oh, our congressman gave us Cobra as a thank you for us being good little peasants. Yeah, Cobra was an act of Congress. People ran on that. People like, yeah, we're helping you maintain your health insurance. So Cobra is the act that forces your employer to allow you the opportunity to continue to pay for your health insurance at full motherfucking price. Cobra helps nobody. Cobra is not something that the average person who just lost their fucking job can afford. You know why? Because you don't get the group rates. Thanks, Congress. No, you don't get to maintain your full health benefits that you had when you were working there. Maybe it was, I don't know, they were deducting $250 a week or month or whatever out of your paycheck. That's fine. We're in a group. We're paying this low amount. So Congress decides we're going to help people. We're going to make sure that the health company makes that same plan available to people who have been fired. Oh, really? Will it be available at the same price they were paying when they were employed? Oh, fuck no. It'll be full price. So you're telling me that Cobra is really just someone going online and buying their own health insurance at full market price on their own. That's what it is? Thanks, Cobra. That's been normalized. We fully accept that. All right, Cobra. Number two thing that has been normalized in our society, and this is really one of the most disturbing of all the things that have been normalized. And I'm telling you, we're going to talk a little bit later. We're going to listen to some audio about an extension of this very normalization that is now also being normalized, and that is child beauty pageants. The fuck is... Children are not beautiful. First of all children are fucking beautiful. Okay, let's go with that. Kumbaya, love kids, you know, all that stuff. Okay, why are we fucking sexualizing children? Child beauty pageant. This 4-year-old is way hotter than that 4-year-old. Fucking weird, man. And don't even get me started on parents who have their daughters in the pageant system. That is a for-profit con that I cannot believe millions of American mothers fall for. I had a friend in high school who had a sister who was not hot. The sister was not hot, not a hot sister. And you would go over to their house, and there were all kinds of pictures on the mantle of his sister's beauty pageant. The mother had spent thousands and thousands of dollars placing this girl who wasn't hot. Nice girl, I suppose. I don't know. Nice girl. She was a couple years younger than us. The mother had spent thousands of dollars putting her in this beauty pageant, and this fucking chick won. She won pageants. She wasn't hot. I'm like, oh, this is a grift. I knew from that moment, I'm like, oh, the beauty pageant system, it's a grift to get fucking parents who want their child to be seen as perfect. It's a grift. Child beauty pageants is number 2 on the list of things that we have for some reason normalized in this country. Again, grown-ass people sitting there with paper judging who's hotter among 4-year-olds or whatever. I don't know. All right, what else do we have here? Okay, here's another thing that we've normalized here. The rich being able to afford legal representation that places them above the law. We've normalized that in America. We have normalized that we have an uneven justice system. Well, he's a rich guy. He can afford the good lawyers. What about the working class kid? Oh, he's going to jail for 20 years. But that's just how it is. It's just our system of justice is really dependent on how much money you can pay to get the best benefit possible from it. We've normalized that. That's fine. Nobody fucking marches in the streets about that. Everybody's just like, well, what are you going to do? That's normalization. What else have we normalized here? Oh, yeah, okay, so this is one that I just, if I go to jail for murdering somebody, it's going to be because of this situation. Why have we normalized the idea that strangers can just turn other strangers into fucking online content? What is that? You're walking down the street and some guy jumps out of the shadows with a phone and starts asking you funny questions for his fucking Instagram? Fuck you! Get the fuck out of here, man! We have normalized this behavior. This is one of those. This isn't like, back in 1969, Alan Funt with a big camera that says NBC on it, stopping people, giving them their 15 minutes of fame. No, it's a bunch of monkeys who are desperate for clicks and hits and forwards, who are going to interrupt your day by trying to humiliate you for their friends online. That's what it is. And we've normalized that bullshit. Number 5, being surveilled everywhere we go. Being surveilled. We are surveilled everywhere we go. Oh, there's cameras everywhere. That's fine. And yet, for some reason, we're told, by the way, that it's for our own security. This intrusion upon our civil liberties, our right to be private people, all these intrusions. Well, you're in public. You have no expectation of oh, fuck you. I'm an American citizen. I have every expectation of privacy. It's for our own security. That's what it's for. No, it's not. That's not what red light. I know that red light cams and bullshit like that are not for our own security, but are in fact for, writing tickets to people who run through red lights. I know it's not for our own security because every time we need that footage for security, it is grainy garbage. The only thing that those cameras seem to be able to capture effectively are license plate numbers. That's it. Everything else is a blur and it's all fucking potato fuzz. We've normalized the idea that we are watched everywhere we go, and we're fine with it because. Number 6. This goes back to something that I think who did I argue with? Was I arguing with Al earlier? I don't know. But this goes into that one. Alcohol. Alcohol is normal, but drugs are not. And by drugs, I mean weed. This whole normalization, this whole rational, normal, reasonable people, are going around thinking, while they're holding their martini, judging someone's 19-year-old for getting high on the back deck. Oh my God, you degenerate. We have normalized that one is better than the other when the exact opposite is true. I say this all the time. I got a 16-year-old kid. Now, he doesn't seem to be a partier, my kid. He's straight A's and all that stuff. He doesn't like alcohol. He doesn't. I know because I'm an Irish dad. So we've sat down with all the different kinds of alcohol. And I said, I want you to taste this. This is whiskey. I want you to taste this. This is vodka. I want you to taste that. We did all of that. He was educated about alcohol and what alcohol can do to him. And you know what he is at 16 years old? Kid who doesn't drink. He's like, I don't like it. He likes weed. He likes to get high. He likes to relax. He likes to eat gummies, all of that shit. And let me tell you, as his parent, way, way more secure in being his father, knowing that that's who he is, as opposed to the fucking idiot who is at some backyard keg party who decides to drive everybody to Burger King for some late night snacks and kills everybody because he's drunk and he's a fool. You know what the stone kids are? The stone kids are the ones at the party who are sitting inside on the couch. Some guy's got a guitar. Maybe other people are playing video games. That's what marijuana does. Beer, alcohol, whatever it is. That's the shit that starts fights. Nobody that was high has ever started a fight. So stop with the idea that booze is fine, weed is evil. How about this one? Here's something. Here's something that really bothers me. This has been normalized. The bastardization of Jesus's message. Oh my God. Oh my God. The Jesuit-educated Catholic kid who is lapsed and doesn't subscribe to any particular faith is now preaching to us about Jesus. Yeah, I fucking am. Because Jesus is a badass. Whether he was real or not, I happen to believe that he was. He's the most important human being who has ever lived. I mean, here we are thousands and thousands of years later, and the guy's words still supposedly influence the most important aspects of modern human existence. That is somebody who made an impact, okay? Yeah, I know. Aaron Spelling, what an impact he made, huh? No, Jesus fucking made an impact. I believe he was a real man. I believe he was a teacher and a philosopher and a leader of a movement. That's who I believe he was. Son of God? God. I got questions about God. I don't know. I believe that Jesus was quite possibly humanity perfected. How's that? Perfect man who's ever lived. So what, number 7 on this list? The normalization and the misinterpretation of Jesus. I'm talking about mega churches. I'm talking about God for profit. I'm talking about people being straight up fucking hateful while wearing a goddamn cross. We have normalized the misinterpretation of Jesus the teacher's method. I'm so angry. Message. All right, normalization. We're doing a list of things that have been normalized. Number 8 on my list. How about college? We have fucking completely normalized the notion that in our society, if you want a good job, you're going to have to get an advanced college degree. Then at the very same time, we made advanced college degrees incredibly difficult to attain for the working class. How rich kids, yeah, they'll go off to Harvard and Princeton, and then when they graduate, hell, they'll just get a fucking six figure. They'll get a 7-figure job right out because, you know, they're the children of the specials. The rest of us have to take fucking loans out. We go into debt, all for this mythical advanced degree that is going to allow us entry into the country club. The American dream is a fucking joke. College, and the idea that college is available to everybody, not really, has been normalized. Credit debt because kids, working class kids, wanted an education. They wanted a chance. Dad worked for the fucking, sewer department for 40 years. They want something better. That's why dad did it. So how do they attain that? Well, they go into incredible, suffocating debt upon graduation. Not rich kids, though. Rich kids have the cool apartment downtown, right? We've normalized college as a place to fuck with the middle class and the working class one more time. All right, there you go. Number 9, I already talked about this one. Circumcision. What are we even doing here? Well, you know what? You know why circumcision is a thing? Because men are detached from the entire birth process. If men were more involved in the entire birth and post-birth process, instead of being in the waiting room smoking cigars and, I got my ball, no, men don't want to know anything about that shit. We don't get involved. The circumcision happens right away. They take the kid's dick and they chop pieces off. Have you ever seen? Look, man, I got to tell you. What they did to my boy. What they did to my boy. If you have ever seen the baby come home that's been circumcised, you just see this fucking cast on his dick, and it's like, no! What did you do to my boy? And I don't know why we're even doing it. What are we doing it for? Well, wasn't this like an 1800s thing that got popular because people didn't have good hygiene back then? Hey, it's 2026. We can all wash our dicks, okay? Well, I don't think we need to be chopping up. Here's the other thing. Is it an aesthetic thing? And this would play into the women making these decisions. Yeah, they look funny. Dicks look funny when they're not circumcised. I've seen a couple. Quite frankly, haven't seen a whole lot of dicks, but I have seen a couple of uncircumcised one. This guy, I've told you about him before. He really ruined, and that didn't ruin me, but changed me in a way. He affected me. I've been carrying this around with me forever. We had a kid who was an Eastern European immigrant back in school. His name was Stan Maluski. He's a great dude. He's a really nice kid, man. I mean, but he wasn't circumcised. When I saw him for the first time, and I'm Irish, so I got the curse. This dude's got a tree trunk, and it's not fucking cut. He was like 13, I'm 13, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Holy shit. And we never said anything about it. Because Stan was kind of a big dude, and he's from Eastern Europe, and it's like nobody wants to fuck with him. It was one of them deals where we're all 13, and he's supposed to be 13, but he very well may be 19. We're not sure. Eastern European school records and all that. So nobody said anything, but I remember being affected by that. I'm like, holy shit, that's what an uncircumcised penis looks like. Snuff a fucking luff, I guess. So it's ugly, and I guess chicks don't like it. Like, I guess it looks prettier, the circumcised dick, right? And this is why I say the women handle all of this and we men detach ourselves. We men need to get more involved. We men need to say to our wives, look, I know you're looking out for his future wife and you're trying to give her a presentation here that is this a thing among women? Are you all in cahoots to make sure that our baby men get fucking circumcised so that their dicks look prettier later in life? I don't know. I don't like it, but we've normalized it and it's brutal. I gotta be honest. I think they took way too much off mine. I think they took way too much off. So I'm a little bit angry. Bugging me for years. All right, number 10. Here's another one here that we've normalized. We've normalized the idea of debt, credit card debt. You know the United States leads the world in credit card debt? No other countries have people in fucking credit card debt like we do. We have 19-year-old waitresses who are in immense credit card debt in this country. And it's normal. That's normal. How much do you pay? It's normal. We've totally normalized the idea that it's okay for us to have fucking $20,000 in credit card debt by the time we're 25 years old. And the final one that I'll share with you, and I think that I gave you 10, but this would be 11. The 11th thing that we have normalized in this country. And I included this because I think it overarches among everything. The reasons that we have normalized everything, or the reasons why we're so comfortable and so easily willing to normalize something that was heretofore obscene or not possible. Cynicism. We have normalized cynicism. You know me, I'm Mr. Therapy guy. I haven't been in therapy in years, but it did a lot of good stuff for me back when I had health insurance. I mean, it really sort of let me understand who I was and what I needed to be the absolute best that I can. I haven't mastered that, but at least I know that I have the tools when I want to start working on that. But cynicism was a big problem. Ego, most of my therapy dealt with, well, obviously my depression, but also within that, the drivers of my depression, ego and cynicism, or I should say hopelessness or lack of optimism. So cynicism is the idea that, you're riding around you're 6 years old and you're in the car with your old man and your old man is just ranting about shit because he's 45 and nothing has worked out for him. And he says something to you like, never trust anyone. Always get it in writing. This kind of early indoctrination of a cynical mind is a real problem. Again, all I can do is use my experience with having a 16-year-old and what I tried to do. But I tried to resist cynicism with him all the time. Whenever he's cynical, I say, how about being hopeful? How about instead of taking that fucking approach to this, how about going, yeah, but... Because all of these things, these emotions are a choice. That's one of the things that you learn in therapy. And knowing that they are choices mean knowing that later today when you're in a pissed off mood and you go off on your family and you say some horrible things and then you apologize by going, I'm sorry, it was just all the stress from the rest of the day. You can control that by making better choices earlier in the day. Just one of the tools that I learned. Cynicism. Resist the fucking cynicism. Resist the idea of, well, there's nothing we can do because everything's fucked. Normalize things. Those are things that we have normalized. Al says, people are going to hate me for this. So let's put it up. Let's see what Al has to say. Al in the chat room says, people are going to hate me for this, for saying this, but we have normalized working from home. I have the benefit of being able to, but I don't. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's a positive or a negative, right? I mean, I think most of the normalization examples that I gave were all pretty negative things that we have normalized. Working from home, is that a negative? I mean, I don't know if that's a negative. I mean, it's certainly destroyed our downtown office buildings. I mean, it's why tumbleweeds blow through downtown Dallas at noon on a Wednesday. But it has absolutely been normalized. 20 years ago, I'm going to work from home. Oh, aren't you special? Now you're all being ordered to work from home. That's a good one, Al. Maddie's got a circumcision thing. She says, I think circumcision is a cultural and societal norm. But I don't think for most women, it's a real deal breaker if it's not. Well, you're a woman, you would know. I've never been sexual with a penis. So I don't, I don't really, I mean, aside from my own, and honestly, the women will tell you I wasn't really sexual with that either. But my point is this. It is cultural. It is societal. It is Jewish people and Christians. The Western, it's societal by hemisphere because it is a Western thing. I think as you go Eastern, as you go East, like I always thought it was a Catholic thing. Then I learned it was a Jewish thing. And then I'm like, so the Catholics are ripping off the good ideas Jews have. Look at that. Maddie follows that up by saying, in general, I think that women prioritize many more characteristics of their partners higher on the priority scale than the attractiveness of the male penis. Yeah, probably. But I do think the penis is still important to a woman. Let's see here. How about Adam? Adam's got something to say. Come on, chat room, get involved, man. We're going to do more interaction with the chat room on these topics because growth is the goal for 2026. Adam says, I wish I could work from home at least a few days a week because it means that my wife is left to deal with all the childcare during the day. Hey, there's a bonus. There's a bonus. For him, anyway. Oh, God, I'm hyped up today. I just can't help myself. I saw this coffee, and I want more coffee. This one's warm. I got hot coffee in a pot right there. This one's all cool now. Room temperature coffee. That ain't good. All right, let's talk about this one. Speaking of shit that has been normalized, I mean, just not being able to believe a goddamn thing the president of the United States says has been completely normalized. Now, again, some of you who are cynics, see the segment we just did, some of you who are cynics will say, well, you could never believe what the president says. And I would say, fuck you. Yes, you could, because presidents lied or maybe gave mistruths or whatever, but not to the degree that this guy does. This guy will stand in front of the press and tell you that the sky is green and the grass is blue. And half the country, well, actually, it's less than half if you believe these polls, 34% of the country is like, yep, sky is now green, grass is blue. So don't give me that. This guy is unique unto himself with just the fucking shit that he says that has no basis in reality. It is why, until further notice, the executive arm of our government has zero credibility. And quite frankly, I don't know that the other two do as well. That's why we're in trouble. Now, is that cynicism? Pugs, you're being cynical. No, I'm not. I'm being hopeful that we can get people jazzed up enough that we can fucking end this nonsense. And by the way, just for those of you who've been with us for a while, you know that this, I was fair. You can remember like all the way into spring and summer of last year. I'm like, well, we got to wait. We got to give him a chance. We got to see what's going on. Well, I've given him a chance. I've been fair. He's a criminal and he needs to go, and he is destroying this country for his own enrichment. And it is so fucking obvious. Did you see the story today? No, of course you didn't, because you watch Fox News. Story today that came out about how money is now being investigated because they believe it's being funneled into an offshore account run by the Qatari government. These are profits from Venezuelan oil. So he is paying for that jumbo jet. Yeah, apparently there is money being siphoned off of the profits from the seized Venezuelan oil that is going directly into an offshore account that is maintained by the Qatari government. Now, I ask you, how is the Qatari government involved in this Venezuela seizing oil tankers bullshit? I don't know, but I can promise you the New York Times will find out. In 20 years, they'll get big balls and go, well, now we're going to expose all this shit that we were afraid to tell you about. But yeah, so nonsense is going on here. The president has now completely turned 180 degrees on what he said about Iran when he was being a tough guy. You remember that? Nobody is afraid of this guy. Everybody thinks this guy is a lunatic, and there are governments around the world that are actively plotting on ways to get rid of him. Well, Pugs, you're advocating for a foreign government. Yes! Not advocating for it. I'm saying I wouldn't be opposed to it. Okay? That's as long as it's one of the good foreign governments. One of the good ones. I don't know what one of the good ones would be. Point is this: Trump has screwed over the Iranian people. He, for weeks now, have been saying, take to the streets, overthrow the government. Donald Trump in the United States of America, we have your back. He made numerous statements about how if any Iranians were killed by the regime because of the protests, that would be met with the full strength of the American, right? He was fucking saber rattling. Well, guess what? They're killing people. And Trump is like, I never said that. I never. That's a bit of a mislead. But here, let me read the story to you. The headline here, what the actual fuck? Conservatives erupt over Trump's heel turn on Iran. Much of President Donald Trump's coalition is currently up in arms over his immediate heel turn on Iran over the last 24 hours, openly disputing his claim that the Iranian regime has stopped killing its own people and speculating that the assertion is part of a ruse. Oh, you don't say. Oh, these are conservative MAGA who is saying this. Actually, I don't know about MAGA. They are definitely conservatives who are saying this. They're saying, we don't think he's being truthful when he said that we were going to defend the people of Iran. His own fucking people are saying this. Earlier this month, Trump pledged to come to aid of protesters if the regime turned to violence. See, now, here's the thing. The reason he's able to do this is because the regime there in Iran has cut off all internet and all access to the outside world. So we don't have a stream of videos coming in. People in Iran, they shoot the massacre, they upload it to TikTok or whatever the fuck. We don't have that because the Iranian government has made it next to impossible to be able to do that. By the way, Elon Musk could help the people, but he's not. He's not. He's got the whole Starlink thing. They're like, hey, Elon, what you need? No, he's not gonna. Not gonna. Here's why I feel this story, the Iran situation, the protests, the global shift that will occur if this happens. Here's why I think it's being ignored by people like, American media. How's that? Why is it that we are completely ignoring that story? Is it because we've got other more pressing things that affect us as American citizens more presciently? Possibly, but it doesn't explain why there is almost zero coverage other than, Iran is still bad. Now let's turn to our reporter in Minneapolis, right? Okay, so they're completely ignoring it. So why? I've got a theory on this. I think it's because the American media in the American fucking overlord system has nothing to do with this. I think that, typically when these things happen, you can find that the CIA has their hands in it, or maybe the American power structure is well on board before this happens and they know what's going on. So the media is utilized to their advantage the way it always is. It's not the case this time. I think this is a purely organic thing, and people like Elon Musk, who tries to control the world, have no idea what's happening here. They weren't prepared for it. The American media is ignoring it because they don't know what side they're supposed to be on here. It's got to be something. It's got to be something. So anyway, Trump tells everybody to take to the streets, overthrow your government. I got your back. And then he doesn't have his back. And now everybody's mad. Why doesn't he have their back? Well, yesterday he said that I'm hearing. Normally, that would have weight coming from the president of the United States. Any other fucking president, man. I don't care if it's Biden or Reagan or Bush. I don't care. Any other president gets up and says, here's what we're hearing. We go, oh, this is obviously classified. This is obviously, what he's hearing from his intelligence. This is obviously something that is substantial. This guy goes, well, I'm hearing, and he might be fucking talking about Tim Pool. He might be talking about a fucking YouTube video that he watched while trying to move his bowels. We don't know. So anyway, he's like, I'm hearing that they're not killing anybody. Well, you're not hearing that because we're not seeing that. But I wonder if we got the internet back up, I don't know, maybe Elon Musk could help there, but he won't. Maybe if we got the internet back up, our social media feeds would be filled with these horrible things that would cause people to be outraged, which would then force Trump to act and on the promise that he made. to help these people, but those don't exist. So Trump doesn't got to do nothing. And especially now that China's involved, Trump is backing down like a fucking bitch. Much of the president's coalition is up in arms. Earlier this month, Trump pledged to come to the aid of protesters if the regime turned to violence. On Tuesday, Trump renewed his vow, writing, Iranian patriots, keep protesting. Take over your institutions. All caps, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Save the names of the killers and the abusers. They will pay a big price. President Trump said yesterday on Truth Social. Help is on the way. MAGA, make Iran great again, I'm guessing. He also added later that day, that help is on the way. There you go. That was a second tweet or a second truth. I don't know. Later that day. CBS News reported that the regime had already murdered between 12,000 and 20,000 protesters. But we don't have video of it. So he's going to say that he's hearing that they've stopped doing bad things to their people, because that's believable. That's believable that a regime that have held on to power now for 40 years, who is desperate to maintain that grasp, is seeing yet another mass protest in their streets. It is hard to believe that they might turn the fucking guns on those people, but Trump does. Trump believes it. I'm hearing that they're being good. So anyway, everybody that was, on the right, a fucking bunch of senators and a bunch of other people inside MAGA, the Bannon types, they're all very upset because they see a great advantage to taking over Iran. I see a great advantage in having a burgeoning democracy in that part of the world. That's my look on it, but, what do I know? I'm a fucking idiot who screams to nobody in the middle of the day. Yeah, all these wars, you would think that a guy with a combat-age son might be a little bit more careful, but this guy, Trump, he knows his kid ain't serving. The Trumps have never served. The Trumps have never served. I think his brother did. I think his brother was a pilot. Did he serve? I don't know. We gotta find out about Fred Trump. Other than that, no Trump has ever served their country. None. They're rich people who are above it all, and you people love him because he's your hero. So yeah, don't worry about that, man. Barron ain't going anywhere, Bill. Barron's, you know what he'll do? Barron will be like a Roosevelt. Do you know that, like, World War II, there were a bunch of Roosevelts that were fighting in the Pacific and all that shit. Actually, famously, what is the movie where Henry Fonda plays a Roosevelt? Henry Fonda plays Teddy Roosevelt III or whatever. I think it's Midway. Is that it? Maybe one of those great World War II movies from back then. Anyway, there are a whole bunch of Roosevelts that were in the war and stuff, but they were all in like really special executive kind of positions. So, this has been going on forever. However, Trump won't even risk that. Not with his kid, not with his precious Barron. Oh, yeah, that's right, Maddie. Maddie says that Trump will probably make sure that Barron has bone spurs just like that. Yeah, here's a good thing in this case, because I understand bone spurs, especially the fictional kind, are genetic. So, fictional bone spurs coming for Barron Trump's medical report, because they serve, because they're good Americans, because you've been duped into thinking, you fucking morons. All right, let's go. He's backtailed on Iran, and that's got things crazy. And guess what's happening right now in China? China is gathering all of our former allies. That's right. Xi Jinping has been holding a fucking string of meetings, welcoming dignitaries from all around the world who want to talk about the Trump problem. So you're probably wondering, well, why do we care? Why would we give a shit if he's talking to the president of Slovakia and the guy from Turkey and, people from fucking Afghanistan or North Korea? We don't care, because that ain't who he's talking to. That is not who is lining up to have a meeting with the world's new most desired economy. And that's what this is about. This is about the Trump tariffs. This is about all of the bullshit, the saber rattling, the we're going to take over Greenland. Canada's going to be the 51st state, what he just did in Venezuela. The rest of the world, who, remember, we were promised, they'll respect us again. You fucking moron. The rest of the world is gathering around China. That is what Trump has done. Xi Jinping welcomes stream of leaders shaken by Trump's New World Order. Who exactly is this New World Order? Who's our New World Order? It's just us. Who do we have on our side? Qatar? Because they gave him a plane? The fuck is going on here? There's China, there's Russia, there's us. China is gathering up everybody that's pissed at us to go, hey, why don't you come join us? And, it's a better coalition. You can be better dealing with Chinese oil and all that. We're going to start dealing oil on the yen. Yeah. Fuck the petrodollar, petro-yen. So that's what's happening. Donald Trump's tariff war occupied U.S. allies for much of last year. And now President Xi Jinping is welcoming a procession of leaders. These are our allies. These are our former allies. The reason we were so fucking powerful was because we had people that would do whatever we wanted, stationed strategically all over the world, all around the world. They were our allies. They're not anymore. They're like, yeah, this guy's fucking nuts. And so let's run down a list of people who are lining up to hang out with Xi Jinping and create a new economic system without the United States. Here we go. Oh, but don't worry about it. Donald Trump is making billions. His family is when this is all done, he's going to be in some Trump mansions. Yeah, I didn't show you that. I was going to show you that. I told you a couple of days ago that Trump was already planning his exile. Yeah, we'll show you that. I got that. I'll find that for you. Trump mansions. Somewhere in the fucking desert in Saudi Arabia. That's where he's going. He is taking all of this money. He is fucking up our economy. And then he's going to fly off in his free jumbo jet from Qatar and land in Saudi Arabia, where he's going to live in this new fucking Mar-a-Lago. It's a real thing. The Trump organization put this video out. They're looking for people who want to live with Trump. And you know what? You can live with Trump, MAGA. He's inviting you. He's inviting you. 20 million. Got to have at least 20 million, though. You want to go live with your hero for the rest of his life as he spends his dying days in exile in a fucking Saudi Arabian desert. This is all happening. And you're not seeing it. You're still going, no, he's better than Kamala. God, you people. Shame on you. Oh, what am I saying? We don't have fucking shame anymore. There's no fucking shame. Nobody's shamed by anything. Lack of shame. There's another normalized thing. Having no shame. Having no fucking humility whatsoever. Bragging about everything ad nauseum. Normalized. All right, so here we go. Donald Trump's tariff war occupied U.S. allies for much of last year, but now President Xi Jinping is welcoming a procession of leaders looking to mend fences with the world's other major economy. See, because you understand, having been in league with us for years and years has caused a bit of a rift between some of these other countries and China. So now with Trump acting the way he is, these other countries are going, hey, Xi Jinping, let's have coffee and talk. I think that we've been misunderstood these last few years. Maybe there's some business we can do together. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Of course, they're not going to report that because this is very complicated stuff and this doesn't sizzle and you can't tease into a Carnival Cruise commercial by going, hey, China's making friends with our old friends. Can't do that. It's not a good story, so we're not going to hear about this. But go ahead, Google search it. Just Google search it. All the major newspapers, we don't read newspapers anymore, all the major newspapers are reporting it. First off, South Korea. That's right. One of our best friends there in that region of the world. When we had a problem with China and North Korea, well, guess what? We had South Korea, burgeoning economy. South Korea, powerful state in the nation there. I get too excited. Powerful nation state in the region, South Korea. Yeah, sitting down with China now. South Korea's Lee Jae-myung kicked off this trend earlier this month, cementing an improvement in their ties with China by becoming His nation, South Korea's first president ever to visit China. Look at that. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't a deal. Why? Because South Korea was with us. And now South Korea's like, yeah, I think we need to be friends with China. I don't. China. Canada's Mark Carney, he followed. That's right. Canada, our neighbor to the north, is going and having meetings with China because they're like, this is fucking crazy. And we might need, he's talking about 51st state. Why don't you come and build some Chinese military bases, I don't know, outside Toronto on the border with Detroit? Let's do that, China. What do you think? So that's what Mark Carney of Canada is doing. He's there as well. Let's see. What else do we have? Late Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. South Korea's Lee Jae-myung kicked off this trend this month, cementing an improvement in ties by becoming his nation's first president to visit China. Canada's Mark Carney followed suit when he arrived late Wednesday, closing a near-decade gap in leader-to-leader diplomacy between Ottawa and Beijing. Days later, Prime Minister Keir Starmer, that's right, our UK buddy, made his first trip to China to sit down with Xi Jinping. Why? Because Trump's a fucking douche. That's why. And if you think that we don't need alliances around the world and we can still walk around pretending like we've got out, you're wrong. You're wrong. We are strong because of our alliances. We are strong because we've been able to convince a bunch of other countries to follow our lead. Elon Musk is poisoning me. All right, so what do we got? We got Keir Starmer here. Let's see. All right, so we got South Korea, we got Canada, we've got Keir Starmer from the UK. He is the where the fuck? I've totally lost my place. I've totally lost my place in this story. There we are. Days later, Prime Minister Keir Starmer of the UK was set to meet with the Chinese capital to buoy British business and relations, making a first trip to China since 2018. Well, that's not that long ago. 6, 7, 8 years. All right. So England hasn't officially made a state visit to China in 8 years. What was going on 8 years ago? Well, Trump was elected the first time. That's right. That's like, maybe that's why they went to back then. But here we go. We have the special relationship, folks. That is a term, that is a geopolitical term for our ties to our English cousins. It is a special relationship. It is first among equals. Yes, we're friends with Canada. We're friends with Germany. We're friends with all these other places. Japan. Hey, buddy. But England, the United Kingdom, is first among equals. It is known as a special relationship. Well, Keir Starmer's going over to hang out with China because of Trump, because of your guy. Let's see here. Days later, Prime Minister Keir Starmer, China's first trip since 2018. Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz is also expected to visit later this week. The parade of politicians comes months after Trump sealed a tariff truce with China that tamped down tensions between the world's largest economies. Xi Jinping and U.S. leaders are slated to meet 4 times this year with a neighbor. Yeah, those meetings are going to be different when fucking Xi Jinping shows up with the UK with him and Germany with him. And look, this is just insane. Just insane. We have no allies. These are our allies, and they're now independently making deals with China. They used to funnel that shit through us. Now they're out there wildcatting. All right. Hey, we need to take a quick break. I need to go to the bathroom. I told you that this was going to be a possibility. Where the fuck did the whole audience go? We lost the entire audience. Well, guess what? Probably a bunch of MAGA faggots. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. I know that that's a wrong word to use, but when I use it that way, I think it's appropriate. All of my gay friends would have no problem with me calling them MAGA faggots. All right. I need to take a piss break. I'm going to come back in a minute. I need to calm down a little because we're going to talk about some serious things and also some not so serious things. Quick break. We'll be back after this. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I hit the vape pen again like I did yesterday for the second part of the show. So we'll see if I'm a little bit calmer now. By the way, CNN at this very moment is talking exactly about what I was just talking about. It says the world is watching as Trump reshapes U.S.'s global role. That's a positive way for CNN to say the world watches as everybody rallies around China against us. That's how I would have written that headline. But then again, I don't work for the bought and paid for media. By the way, a friend of mine who's MAGA texted me there when I said that, oh, we lost everybody. They're all gone. All the MAGA people have been run off. My MAGA friend texted me and he said, no, I'm not here. I'm just taking notes for the list you'll be on. I'm still here. I'm taking notes for the list that you will be on. I'm like, oh, okay. And I will say to you, because you're listening, I love you, brother, but you're fucking wrong and a bad American. Yeah, that's right. I'm telling you that again. You're a bad American. You don't know what being American is. All right, moving on. Bill would like to know how was my tinkle time. My tinkle time was... I don't know which one I got here. I got multiple coffees going. My tinkle time was fine. The coffee pot turned off, so I had, room temperature coffee, so I had to microwave it. Should have a fucking coffee sponsor, right? What am I talking about? We should have any kind of a sponsor. Nobody sponsors this kind of talk radio. My old friend Amy. She's got good Wisconsin blood. It's one of the things I like most about Amy. She says, friggin' breaks my heart that Trump has alienated all our allies. It seriously makes me want to cry. How do you feel about the U.S. decision to take military action in Venezuela? 53% oppose, 40. Wait, was that 52? Okay, so we oppose it. All right. Anyway, that poll right there shows that Americans... I honestly don't, that's a funny question. CNN just put up a poll thing about how Americans feel about our invasion of Venezuela. I don't know. I'm like, okay. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Venezuela has never really been a big player in my mind. When I think about global powers and all that, I understand the oil. I understand that, but I've never really, I don't know. I have opinions about him blowing up people on boats and claiming that they're bringing fentanyl, a substance that absolutely 100% does not come from Venezuela, but... Frank, Mr. fucking Buzzkill. Frank, Pugs, please check with the doctor about urine. Sounds could be overactive bladder or type 2 diabetes. First of all, I've already checked. Trust me when I tell you. When I tell you, Frank, that I've been through all of that recently. I'm fine. I got no blood problems. I got no I do have an issue that I haven't talked about on the air. People back in Dallas who know why I'm here, they know about the issue. I do have an issue, but I don't think it's shown anything. But thank you, Frank. No, my urine issue is three things. And by the way, I brought it up with doctors. My urine issue is three things. One, it's just older. It's just, it just happens. It's normal. It's normal when men get to my age that suddenly they're peeing more than they used to. Two, coffee. I just drink so much coffee. I don't pee this crazily at like 8 o'clock at night. Like if I go home and I get home at 7 and I go tinkle at 7, I probably won't go to the bathroom again until 11:30 just before I go to bed. So it's fine. And that's coffee driven. This is a very coffee driven kind of thing. But thank you, Frank. I appreciate the concern. Hey, I do want to say this show, of course, it runs on your gratuities. We like to award the title of executive producer to the person that tips the show. I haven't put up the tip thing. You want to know why? Because I knew that the first half of the show was going to be a whole lot of polarizing politics, and I didn't want to monetize that. Why? Because I'm a fool. Because I'm a fool who still has these principles and morals and shit like that, and I fucking make every bad decision in the world that is to my detriment based on some fucking Mount High vision of how people should act. Meanwhile, every con man out there is like, tip the show, tip the show. So we're going to do that now, since we're going to move into more regular conversation, less MAGA shit. Although we do have to break down some videotape that is going to be another rant driven by my dislike of the way the country is being run. But every day, the person who tips the show the most gets the title of executive producer. Today's executive producer is, that's right, it's Maddie. I know it was Maddie yesterday, but nobody tipped yesterday, and Maddie tipped enough for 3 of you. So there you go. Thank you to Maddie. If you yourself would like to tip the show and help this kind of talk radio continue, we are in our 4th year. Hell, I think we might be in our 5th year. I don't even know. You can drop a little something in either the Venmo or the Cash App, because let me tell you, the more I get like this, the more you're going to have to either expand the show to new listeners who are maybe like-minded, who hate fucking Trump and can't handle it anymore. Yes, this is a Trump derangement show. Let's talk about Trump derangement syndrome for a moment, shall we? You can say it, it sounds clever, but really what it is people who love America who see this fucking billionaire clown bending her over and fucking her in the ass. That's what Trump derangement system is. So fuck you. And yeah, you know what? He's a bad guy. And you're a moron for not seeing it. Do I have Trump derangement syndrome for saying that? Well, maybe, but you're still a bad guy at the end of the day. Still a bad guy. All right. Congratulations to Maddie. She is our executive producer today. What else do we have? Oh, Verizon. Were any of you inconvenienced by Verizon? Apparently, Verizon went down yesterday. Millions and millions of people for hours had absolutely no cell service. They had no cell service. They had no access to the internet because they pay a monthly subscription to Verizon and they depend on Verizon and their entire life is tied to Verizon, and Verizon went down and we were lost. You know, at some point, not now, but I imagine in the next 50 years, they're going to figure out a way to make you pay for oxygen. Yeah, I swear to God, that's coming. They are going to pollute the air so bad that you are going to have special oxygen pumped into your house, and they're going to figure out a way to charge us for fucking oxygen because American capitalism. Verizon went down. I'm watching this story last night unfold. It happened. Well, I guess it happened during the day, but they were talking about it on the news. I'm watching this and I'm like, Jesus. The billionaires and the tech billionaires and all of these people, they have completely gotten us dependent on their little toys. And when they decide to flip a switch, they can fucking shut the world down. That's what happened with Verizon. Imagine AT&T and Verizon go out at the same time. Nobody can fucking call anybody because, you know, nobody has a home phone. We don't do landlines anymore. That was a good idea. About 15 years ago, we all started going, you know what? I don't know why I'm paying for a landline. There's no need for that. I got this handy dandy cell phone that sits in my pocket. Anybody calls me, I don't even have to get up anymore. So we all got rid of our landlines. We all got rid of all our landlines, and now our means of communications as regular people is completely dependent upon the billionaire class who runs the companies that fucking deliver our connectivity. That's what happened yesterday. It was just a little blip. And by the way, they say it wasn't a hack. You know, a lot of times these tech companies, I think they run these fire drills on purpose where they fuck us all up just to see what would happen. And then they go, we got hacked, or, you know, some shit like that. This wasn't a hack. Verizon is saying that the outage yesterday, the widespread outage among their network, was caused by a software update. They did it themselves. Oops. Software update. I love them. I love them. I am not standing on Mount High preaching to you people about how I'm better than you when it comes to our dependency problem on these tech things. I am with you. I'm dependent. I'm as dependent as anybody. My phone goes down, I freak out. We don't have internet. The internet starts acting glitchy. I lose my shit. I'm just pointing out that it happened. That it happened. We let it happen. We got way too dependent. Isn't this fun? Look how cool this is. Well, now there's no home phones. There's no home phones. There's no internet. Every bit of information that we get is controlled by the internet. Now, let me ask you something. Told you the story about China and all of our former allies. Hell, Canada. But We want to keep saber rattling at Canada? Come on, what are we doing? We are forcing them to go into what? A military alliance with China? What are we doing? Anyway. I'm rambling. I know, I'm rambling. What do you think the first thing that's going to happen when China and Canada decide that they've had enough? Well, they're going to shut down our internet. When our internet goes in this country, we are going to get raped and invaded. We won't be able to call anybody for anything. We're all going to suddenly be back in 1975 during a blackout. That is what's going to happen to the United States of America, and we are going to be easy pickings for anybody who wants to come in and mop all this bullshit up. Verizon, it was a software update. They did it themselves. Sorry. Just another example of how they're all going to get in cahoots. There's like 5 guys that run all of these companies, and you all fucking love them because you think someday you'll be like them. Well, you won't. Most of them are like 12th generation billionaire. Fucking people walking around with the Medici last name still, calling shots. Power to the people. Oh, wait a second. Isn't that a communist thing? Well, maybe, but it fits. It fits what we're doing. Got to take it back. All right, so we got that. We got the Verizon thing. All right, let me show you that. We'll do this. Why not? We'll do this. So the Renee Good situation. We'll watch a video. We know what gaslighting is. Gaslighting is when we know something to be true, but then somebody really tries hard to convince us that what we know to be true is not true. That is called gaslighting. It comes from the film Gaslight, right? And wasn't the premise that this woman, I might have this wrong, but I think this is the way this term has evolved in our society. There was a film called Gaslight where a husband was trying to drive his wife insane. He was trying to make her think that she was going insane. And I believe she would turn the gas off on a light, walk out of the room, and then he would walk into the room and turn it back on. And then she'd walk into the room and she'd say, I just turned this off. What is going on here? And he'd say, no, you didn't. And she said, yes, I did. I know I turned it off. And he's like, I was standing right here the whole time. You didn't turn it off. To the point where she suddenly begins to doubt what she knows is real because this person is so convincing. That's gaslighting. That's what's been going on here. And that's certainly what's been going on with the Minnesota incident concerning that ICE officer and Renee Good. It's gaslighting. They used gaslighting with January 6th. We know what we fucking saw. And they're like, they didn't do anything wrong. It was totally peaceful. We know what we fucking saw. We know what we saw in the video. But the gaslighting among the MAGA side, who are doing whatever they can to defend the SS, just whatever they fucking can. You guys know I come from a cop family. I got cop plates. My car has cop plates. My mother was just retired from the state police for 30 years. All of my friends' dads were cops. I was raised by cops. I am fucking back the blue to the bone, okay? I am about backing good cops. Good cops that aren't assholes or power drunk or maybe didn't have the mental capacity to be a cop, but suddenly they read a want ad on Craigslist and they're wearing federal uniforms. Those are not good cops. So don't fucking try and blur that, okay? There is a difference between the cop that serves your community proudly and bravely in these days and the fucking jackbooted thugs that have been flown in from out of town and descended upon a municipality and are now running amok. There is a difference. If you don't fucking see that, then again, just another example of. We saw the video from the original angle, and it was absolutely clear that she was cranking the wheel away from him, and the wheels had actually turned away from him. He was the one that was standing in front of her. Now, the question is, there were a couple of other angles, right? And there's one angle in particular that's being called the Hollywood angle. And that's the angle that MAGA has really jumped onto, the Hollywood angle. The Hollywood angle is the angle that film directors would choose if they were trying to give the impression that one of their actors was hit by a car. It is an angle that is not realistic. It gives a perception that isn't true because of the way the angle is. That's the singular angle that MAGA is using to call this woman a barbarian who was attempting to run over police officers. It's a lie, and it is an example of gaslighting. So much so, and it's been so effective, that I know people who are normal people who I had a conversation last night with somebody on Twitter who hadn't seen what I'm about to show you. And this person was like, I don't know, man. I think she did hit him, but I don't think it was intentional. And I'm like, dude, she never hit him. She never hit him. It only looks like she did from one angle. And that's what the president is using. Oh, and by the way, internal bleeding. He had internal bleeding. Number of people, I'm no doctor, but a number of people have said, yeah, that's a fancy word for a bruise. A bruise is absolutely an example of internal bleeding. Not serious, but I reject the bruise, because where the fuck did the bruise come from? He wasn't hit. Somebody suggested from the recoil of his gun, which I was like, yeah, that's probably it. That's probably where he got the bruise from, the internal bleeding bruise. Here's my question about the internal bleeding. Where's the fucking doctor? Where's the doctor? He was taken to a hospital in Minneapolis, right? He was probably admitted overnight. Where are the reports of this? Why are the only people saying that he suffered internal bleeding Christy fucking Nome? Where's the doctor? You telling me CNN, CBS, Fox, MSNBC, any number of fucking independent journos in the area? You telling me that nobody has been able to get the doctor to confirm that he had internal bleeding? Where's the fucking doctor? Frank, who I love, and Frank, who states the obvious all the time, actually has a very good point with this. Frank says some cops are good and some aren't. Just like all teachers aren't having sex with students. Yet if you Google teachers and sex, thousands of stories pop up. That's right. He's absolutely right. Here, I'll go one step further for you, Frank. Some protesters are good. Some protesters aren't. Some dentists are good. Some dentists will finger bang you while you're asleep. Some accountants are good. Some accountants will run away to fucking South America with all your money. Human beings are good and bad, and the path they choose in life has nothing to do with the way they're naturally oriented. You were either raised by good people who made you good, or you were raised by fucking jackals who've created you into this mess you are today. Yeah, it comes down to your parents, sorry to say. There was a post yesterday that I felt compelled to get involved with. I don't know, it just triggered me. You know, the only reason I'm on Twitter now is to be triggered and to have fun. Fuck with these idiots. Somebody was like, my pop said that he wouldn't vote for Kamala because liberal California. Pop said that he wouldn't vote for so-and-so because liberal Chicago. Obama, right? He's listing all of these people. And then the last thing was, Pop's voted for Trump, MAGA forever. And I was like, your fucking Pop sounds like a real asshole. It sounds like you were raised by a real fucking asshole. I don't know. Raise your kids better, man. Raise your kids to be optimistic. Raise your kids to be fun. Raise your kids to love people. Raise your kids, most importantly, to not be pussies. What do I mean by that? I mean, all you alpha men, you're all fucking pussies, if you ask me. Andrew Tate, you're a fucking pussy. You know why? Because you're fucking afraid of everything. Or you're a con man who knows that your pussy audience is afraid of everything. So you're just going to manipulate that into a way for you to ring the fucking cash register. If not, you're a fucking pussy because you're afraid of everything. MAGA, you're all fucking pussies. Your entire fucking ideology is based on you being afraid of something. Bunch of fucking pussies. Raise your children to not be fucking afraid of the boogeyman, okay? Let's start there. Thank you. I gotta pee again. I know that ain't good, but hey, Pugs loves his coffee. The doctors, if they released that information, they would violate HIP. No, they wouldn't. No, Frank. Look at you, Frank, using MAGA logic. Let me drop a little journalism school on you. A doctor can confirm or deny that the report is true without violating any of the HIPAA. So fucking kick rocks, Frank. He doesn't exist. Stop making excuses for a mythical doctor who diagnosed that dude as having internal bleeding. He doesn't exist. Or maybe he does, but he certainly hasn't come forward. Stop making excuses. Thank you, Frank. That was good. That got me going. Breaking news. Trump threatens to use Insurrection Act to deploy federal troops to Minnesota. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Last night we had a whole bunch of shit going on there. Protesters. You guys are bad. You guys are bad. Ice sucks. Yeah, that's what it was. I told you last week that that's all it's going to be. It's going to be a couple of days of that. There's not going to be any real change. Nothing's going to be accomplished. Nobody's going to do anything. A couple of weeks from now, we'll all be focused on the Super Bowl, and nobody's going to pay any attention to any of this shit because that's who we are. These protesters are fucking feckless. Well, Pugs, what do you think they should do? I don't know. That's why I'm not out there. I don't know. I got no ideas. I don't know. But don't fucking act like they're valiant. There are a bunch of people out there moral grandstanding. Let's cause an inconvenience. I told you how protests actually work. Protests work when they shut down the community. These fuckers go home at midnight. They go home. And then we'll meet back here at 8, right? And we'll yell at ICE some more. You fucking build tents in the street. You start bonfires. You don't fucking leave. You force them to get violent with you because that's the message. You don't get violent first, but once they start, yes, you have a right to defend yourself because America, but you force their hand. That's how protests work. These fucking people go home at midnight after screaming at some idiot for 40 minutes. It's feckless. And I'm tired of the opposition being feckless. And by the way, this fucking Waltz, the governor there, making these speeches. This is wrong. Get your troops in there. You're the governor of the goddamn state. You've got a National Guard. You've got fucking police. You've got something. Do something. Well, he doesn't want to do that because that would be wrong. The Democratic leader, the Democrat from Minnesota, the governor, he knows right and wrong, and he would never do anything wrong when in a battle against somebody who has no rules on the other side. But the opposition is still, well, that would be wrong. No, we're through the looking glass, Alice. We're through the looking glass. They have destroyed the construct, and now it's time to win. Now it's time to vanquish evil. However that is. And I don't know. I don't have any answers. I don't know. That's why I'm not out there. Yeah, that's not why I'm not out there. I'm not out there because I'm old and comfortable, and I don't need that shit in my life. I got problems. I got money problems. Certainly don't need to be arrested. That's another thing that's been normalized. This is probably the most shocking thing, and it just dawned on me, but it is something that I have done. Do you know that it is now normal for me as an American citizen to want to say something on social media, like specifically Twitter? It is normal for me to want to say something and then not say it. Not because I'm afraid of the blowback, but because I'm not entirely sure that they are not compiling a list. I am not this show. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm not entirely sure that we're not going to reach a boiling point and they're going to start arresting people like me or other people who openly criticize what we're all seeing. I stop. That's been normalized for me. I'm like, well, I better not do that. I'm an American citizen. I have a First Amendment right to say any stupid thing that I want, but I'm afraid to because I'm doing it on Elon's platform, and I really don't have any clue how much fucking power this guy has. But I imagine that if Elon Musk just wanted to strafe me out of the herd and make an example of one fucking chirper on Twitter and ruin their life, he probably could. That is also, by the way, the premise of a screenplay that I've been working on. I'm not kidding. I've been working on this. I've been writing notes on this. Check this out. All right, here's your pitch. Here's your pitch. We're in the Hollywood studio. I'm like, all right, here's the premise. It's a comedy, and it is a comedy. This could be a great comedy. Who would I like for this? Who do I think would be good for this role? I don't know. Anyway, here's the concept. It's just a dude who's on Twitter who fucking shits on the world's most powerful guy who owns the platform. It's not about Musk because we don't want to get sued, but anyway, you get the premise, right? So, and it just so happens that this like super powerful guy happens to see this one tweet from this rando guy, just a regular guy. And this world's most powerful man decides I can completely destroy that one guy's life just by fucking with him mercilessly. That's the premise for the movie. I think that's a funny movie, right? You get like a rich guy just fucking with, maybe Will Ferrell is the guy, I don't know. And all of a sudden, his credit cards don't work. All kinds of crazy shit. I don't know. Anyway, that's my pitch. That's my movie. But it has been normalized. It has been normalized. The idea that I am not 100% sure as a broadcaster, as a commentator, as whatever you want to call this, that I'm not 100% sure that I'm not going to end up in a fucking dungeon because that's what America looks like these days. They can make anything up. They come and get me and they're like, oh, he embezzled $1 billion from Radio Misfits. They'll have no fucking evidence, but that doesn't matter. I'll spend 6 weeks in a goddamn dungeon before anybody figures out that there are no real charges. Pugs Moran is the world's largest purveyor of child whatever. It's fucking bullshit. I'm scared. You should be scared because if they want to just get one guy to make an advantage of, they can't take advantage of. They can. That's normal. That's normal for me to have that concern as an American citizen. Fuck that. So yeah. All right, let's see. So we're going to watch this video, right? This is the video. This is the two angles. We're being gaslit. I want you to watch two angles. One angle's that, by the way, these two angles of the car hitting or not hitting Ross, these two angles have been synced up. So you see both of them. You see how one of them makes it obviously clear that he's being hit. And then the other one that is much closer and on a completely different side makes it clear that he was not hit at all. One is, of course, here it's the original angle that we all saw first, and then the second one that is synced up with is the one that MAGA is running with to try and prove that she was a domestic terrorist. So let's watch both of these, okay? Now, again, I know what I think. Maybe you think something different, and that's fine, right? Because this is all, our eyes are... Hold on, here we go. Let's watch this guy. And again, I don't know who this guy is. He's probably some... I don't know. Actually, he seems to be presenting himself as some kind of a digital expert, and he seems to have some level of expertise in the way he breaks this down. But let's watch it. This is, again, the two angles. The first angle that we all saw, where we all went, she didn't try and hit him. And then the second angle, the Hollywood angle, or the MAGA angle, whatever you want to call the one that they are choosing to believe. Let's watch.
Good hit ICE officer Jonathan Ross with her car. I wasn't planning on making a video about this, but I keep seeing people saying either that the footage proves he wasn't hit or that it shows he was hit, and both of those can't be true at the same time. And I'll be honest, when I saw this clip, I thought, that really does look like he was hit. Maybe I was wrong. So I gathered a bunch of angles, synchronized them up in an editing software to look frame by frame at what happened, and it turns out we can arrive at a definitive conclusion, so we'll do that together. Now, I'm not going to show blood or gore, but this is a sensitive incident, so viewer discretion is advised. We start with this angle shot by bystander Caitlin Collinson, which shows Renee Nicole Good waving the first ICE car to pass in front of her, which they do. Then she waits for the second car to pass, but they stop.
Hold on, wait a second here. Caitlin Collins? Is that really the name of the citizen who recorded this? Because isn't that a CNN chick?
And two ICE officers exit the vehicle. At this point, you can hear her say, "I'm pulling out." They tell her to get out of the car, they start yanking on the door handle and reach inside her vehicle. This already disproves claims by DHS head Kristi Noem, who said that she was belligerent towards them and attacked them as they were pushing their cars out in the snow.
All right, so how do you rationalize that, Byron? How do we rationalize that, Barney? Your Kristi Noem, who looks hot in blue jeans, your Kristi Noem said that she was being violent and that she was out of control and unhinged and all of that. You just saw, she just fucking was wasted. Is that honestly do you think that's truthful? I guess that's the question. I don't want to get into the politics of it all, but do you think that's true? What your secretary of fucking hot blue jeans said? That she was acting violently? We just saw that she wasn't acting violently. As a matter of fact, in a second here, you're going to see her try and de-escalate by being kind. MAGA doesn't show that. We'll watch. We'll see her say, I'm fine, dude. I got no problem with you. I'm just trying to. We'll see her say that. Less than a minute before being shot in the face. About 40 minutes before Kristi Noem called her a violent, out-of-control terrorist. Gaslighting, you guys. You're being gaslit. And you're choosing to believe what you want to believe because you are so...
Now we get to this angle shot belligerent reach inside her vehicle. This already disproves claims by DHS head Kristi Noem, who said that she was belligerent towards them and attacked them as they were pushing their cars out in the snow. Now we get to this angle shot by Jonathan Ross himself, who's the ICE officer who killed.
Look at how out of control she seems. I mean, I would have my hand on my gun right now. She seems fuck ICE, fuck you. Like she's one of those people, right? Because that's what they would have you believe.
Renee Nicole Good. Now we get to this angle shot by Jonathan Ross himself, who's the ICE officer who killed Renee Nicole Good. Importantly, this was shot on a handheld smartphone, not a body cam. And when he passes in front of her car window, she tells him,
"That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you."
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. She's just looking to end the situation. That's fine, dude. She's not out of control. You were told by the people who you trust that she was out of control and a terrorist and all of this shit. That's what you were told. And you are choosing to believe it. Despite evidence to the contrary, you are choosing to believe it. That, my friends, is a mental illness.
Which further passes in front of her car window, she tells him,
"That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you."
Which further shows that she was being calm and polite and trying to de-escalate the situation so she could leave. As far as I understand, this is her wife, which you could argue is being slightly more confrontational, but
fucking lesbo. That's one of the fucking lesbians. That's honestly why this protest is not going to create what maybe the George Floyd or the Michael Brown or all that is. I went through this list last week. I told you that the white single mom turned lesbian is not going to get people in the streets. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. I'm just looking at our society and going, yeah, nobody cares about them. Nobody cares about them at all. A white middle-aged man gets stomped in the street and you will have the Proud Boys and you will have people, not a middle-aged single mom lesbian. No, nobody cares. They don't have an advocacy group. What do you talk about? Everything is LGBTQ. Yeah, right. Yeah, how often do you hear the fucking lesbian wing of that fucking organization? No. That's all about young gay men getting beat up in Montana and trans teens. That's all that's about. They don't give a fuck about lesbians. I mean, yeah, it's the first one. It's LGBT. But that's why they forget it immediately. They're like... The L is all the way the first one. We got more important things to focus on. Nobody cares about lesbians. I'm not saying that I don't. I'm speaking generally.
One, she has every right to be, and two, she's not behind the wheel, so her behavior is not at issue at all. Moments before the shooting, you can see on Ross's camera that she's turning the steering wheel right. You can also see the wheels of the car.
She is cranking the wheel away. So, guys, this is not in dispute. And if you're seeing this and you're still going, well, but, again, you're mentally ill. You're mentally ill. And yet, now look, now don't take that for you. They're all different levels of mental illness. I believe that we all walk around with mental illness. I don't think that there is a mentally fit person in the fucking world. We all have our things, and if you're aware of them, you can work on them. Most people aren't even aware of them, and it's why people are like, that guy's an asshole. Yeah, it's because he's got a fucking mental illness that he doesn't even realize he has, and that's why he's say the wrong thing guy, or that's why he's this or that. It's all explainable by the way our mind works. So when I say mental illness, I'm not talking about you're retarded, although quite frankly you might be. I'm talking about whatever aspect it is that is forcing you to not acknowledge reality. Whatever it is, you're seeing it and you are still choosing to believe something else. Or maybe you don't actually believe it. Maybe you have seen this and you do know the truth, but your ego is so out of control. Mental illness. Having an out of control ego is mental illness, but your ego is so out of control that it will not allow you to admit that publicly, because admitting that publicly means that you are less than whoever you are talking to. And that is just not something that your stupid feral ego can handle. Saddle your fucking egos, man. Understand that your egos can be your greatest fucking thing, your greatest tool, if you don't just let it do whatever it wants to do. Look at this shit. Look at what we're seeing.
Turning right, she's not behind the wheel, so her behavior is not at issue at all. Moments before the shooting, you can see on Ross's camera that she's turning the steering wheel right. You can also see the wheels of the car turning right from the other angle as Ross...
All right, these wheels are absolutely turning
out of the path.
How do I know the wheels are turning? Because the car is fucking turning, okay? Don't split hairs with me about, well, they're not actually turning. The car is physically turning in that direction, you mental case.
The vehicle. Okay, third angle. This was posted by ABC5, and ICE defenders say this shows...
Okay, this is what's known as the Hollywood angle. This is if a film director wanted to film a scene giving the impression that his actor was hit by a car, this is the angle they would use.
Ross being hit. This is what is professionally referred to as potato quality footage. It's a blob of pixels, so it's really hard to see what's happening. But there are three really important things we can get from this footage. One, the moment before the car purportedly hits him, if you synchronize the footage with the other angle, you can see that he was...
All right, here you go. This is the synchronization. Now, we are not saying that he is not being moved by the force of the car. What we are saying is that she did not intentionally try to hit him. He is making contact with the car, but that is his choice. His hands are on the car, as if for some fucking reason he thought he was strong enough to stop the car. He's a moron. Let's watch.
Already outside and reportedly hits him. If you synchronize the footage with the other angle, you can see that he was already...
All right, here it is. Well, okay, that didn't stop it right. He is clear. Right now, the shooter is completely clear of the car. Completely clear if you look down here. If you look over here from the Hollywood angle, it looks like the actor is getting hit, doesn't it?
Outside and...
You can see both of his feet. You see the wheel here. The wheel is obviously turned away from him. You see his left leg here. You see his right leg here. He is clear of the car.
The path of the car.
Right here. And he shoots. Leg, shoots. He is completely clear of the fucking car. She is turning away. There is no... Show me where the violent act occurred that caused him to be hospitalized overnight with internal bleeding. Show me. It's not even about this, man. It's about your willingness to be lied to and accept it.
It only looks like he was hit because this is from the same angle as a...
Totally. He's completely clear when he fires. Over and over. Let's watch that again. Here we go.
One, the moment before the car purportedly hits him, if you synchronize the footage with the other angle, you can see that he was... Synchronize the footage with the other angle, you can see that he was already... Synchronize the footage with the other angle, you can see that he was already...
He's clear of the car right now. The car is turning clear of him.
Outside of the path.
He's completely clear. Here, this is where he's leaning on it, though, like he's trying to physically stop it. He is absolutely off to the side of the car with the wheels cranked in the other direction. She was not trying to run him over. He got frustrated because he's a fucking Walmart security guard, and he shot her in the fucking face. That is the fact. The president of the United States should acknowledge that and go, mistakes were made. But that motherfucker's ego is so out of control, he can never admit a mistake.
The car. It only looks like he was hit.
And why would he? Christian evangelicals that think he's the next coming of Christ, and this motherfucker has never been to church. Why would he think that he needs to tell the truth? He knows that his base is as stupid as they make them.
Because this is from the same angle as a Hollywood film would shoot an action scene to make it look like a punch connects with an actor's face.
All right, that's all we need. That's all we need. I know what I saw. You guys are so disingenuous. It's about intent. Was she out there intentionally trying to kill these ICE people? That is what you want me to believe, and I'm telling you that is not wrong. She's fine. You want to call her a troublemaking protester and all that stuff? Yeah, okay, I'll sign off on that. But that's not illegal. Oh, she was blocking the road. That's illegal. Okay, that's a municipal thing. And you're right, that is a traffic violation, but I don't think that warrants being shot in the fucking face. I don't know. Look, man. I don't know, man. I don't know why you're just trying to demonize this lady. Well, I do know why, because you don't know her. Because she's not a real person to you. If you're a fucking MAGA guy in Nebraska, this lesbian in Minneapolis may as well be a fucking TV character. You don't fucking have any real, you don't see them as a real human being. That's a problem. That's a disassociated defect that is also mental illness. Mental fucking illness. A lack of empathy is a sign of mental illness. Yeah, Rob's got some really good observations here. He says, you know how hard it is for me to hold back? I have to. Yes, I do. I know he has to hold back. We don't need to get into that. Rob also says, not to mention, if she intended to hit him, she would have floored it in the turn. Yes, she would have. Yeah, she would have done something that made it look like she was intentionally trying to run that guy over. Not to mention, she would have floored it if she was trying to hit him, you would think. 2 miles per hour ain't gonna do it. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're right. The easy little turn. Now, Rob, you know this because I know that you are a proud Denzian at the south side of Chicago, raised here. You've faced down your fair share of winners, although maybe now you're living up there in beautiful wherever, Northern California. Had no traction. She was in snow and ice. She wouldn't have really been able to floor it even if she wanted to, but it is certainly a fact that she's not spinning her wheels, and that is probably the greatest piece of evidence that says she did not floor it. She did not try to run him over. Her wheels don't spin. If she was trying to hurt him on those streets in Minneapolis, if she had floored it or given any gas other than the 2 mile per hour that we seem to have seen her reach, the tires would have spun. If she was trying to hit him, it would have gone like that. We know that. Fucking morons in Florida don't. Morons in Florida are like, she was aggressively driving. No, sorry. Maddie says, we are upset now because we never thought this would happen to us. Yeah. Yes. To me, a Gen X kid who grew up with fucking Reagan and then Clinton and then the Bushes and the normal presidents, right? Me who grew up then, this is unbelievable. The first thing that I told you about today was Kristi Noem, Secretary of Blue Jeans. Kristi Noem normalized the idea, putting it out there just so Americans know this is a thing that's going to be normal now. Kristi Noem said that American citizens should expect to be asked to identify themselves. Show us your papers. They have normalized that notion this morning. So yeah, I never thought we would be here. I never fucking thought America would be here. But I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that. We're 200 years old. No great society has gone on forever. Everything falls. Rome fell. Constantinople fell. Egypt fell. So America is gonna fall. And why would America fall? America would fall. And why do all great societies eventually fall? They fall because the citizens have a lack of a well-defined enemy and they get fat, lazy, and complacent. Does that sound familiar, Americans? We are all fat, lazy, stupid, and complacent. So we are turning on each other, and that is how great societies fall. See fucking Rome. That's what's happening. Fat, lazy, stupid, complacent, and we let a guy who is obviously a con man win over the stupidest among us. And guess what? When you're trying to win an election, which is a popularity contest, and you lean into the stupid, well, there's an awful lot of stupid in America. That's how you win. Promise the gullible, promise the naive, promise the desperate and the angry, all the things they want to hear, and you'll get their vote. And then you elect a billionaire who just fucking robs this country blind, screws over our citizens, declares himself goddamn emperor, and that's where we are. So yeah, Maddie, I never thought that we would be here as a country. April with a really good point. Too much empathy causes mental illness too. Pit of despair and depression. Yeah. Being way too empathetic is also really bad. And that is something that empaths have to deal with. Empath being is it Freudian? I'm not sure. I know it's a therapeutic designation for a person who just instinctively feels a certain way about things. Yeah. And again, causes depression. Let's be careful there, because those are not the kinds of things that cause depression. Depression is caused by things that are outside the control. That's why people who are really happy with great lives hang themselves in a hotel room. But you are right. It can cause you to spiral into, if you're too empathetic and you see too much horrible things. Yeah, you will fall down into a pit of, just hopelessness, and that's not good either. That is absolutely a mental deficiency. Well said. Thank you, April. Maddie says we are upset now. We already did that one. Sorry. Oh, here we go. Maddie's got, this is what she was saying. She says, this is the same thing that brown and black people have been telling white people for years when the consequences don't match the crime. This is not new in general, just new to white people. I don't disagree, but I don't disagree. I mean, I don't know. If you were a black kid and you were walking down 159th Street in 1986, 159th Street here in the South Burbs of Chicago, if you were a black kid in 1986 walking down, just a black kid, you were just black. If you were just walking down the street in 1986, the police would pull you over. The police would stop you. The police, what are you doing walking here? This is a white neighborhood. You're not a black. So these kinds of things have always been around. The misuse of justice, the oppressive nature of, they used to call it good police work. I used to call it good police work. I did. Remember when the conversation about profiling and all of that came out? I was always like, what, profiling? Stop it. It's good police work. It's, looking at a situation and go, this doesn't look right. Let's investigate. It's just that they seem to have taken too much joy in that aspect of good police work. It just seemed like it really was a bit oppressive and willy-nilly, and, I'll harass anybody I want if they don't look right to me. That is a problem. And I think that the truth between the two arguments, is it good police work or is it profiling? As with almost everything that we're going to confront, it's in the middle. It's somewhere in the middle. Yeah, there are aspects of good police work to things that could otherwise be categorized as profiling. Absolutely. It's hard. It's a Venn diagram, man. Shit overlaps. But it's the absolutism that I reject. It's that it's absolutely this or it's absolutely that. No, man. Again, the world is not black and white. The world is not good and evil. The world is gray, and the world is somewhere in the fucking selfish middle. Sometimes we're good, sometimes we're evil. It's about what our instinctive intent is. What are we trying to be? Are we hopeful that we'll be good, or do we not give a fuck and just lean into evil? Right? That's where the problem is. It's not about this person's good, this person's evil. It's a weird, muddled middle. Anyway, that's what I think. What do I know, though? All right, let's see here. What else do we want to talk about? Oh, we'll do that. You know what? We'll do this. Oh, God, it's already 2:30, but I do have more stuff I want to do. Gotta pee again. Sorry, Frank. Trust me, it's not bladder cancer or anything. It is 1, 2, 3. I am. It's coffee. It's coffee. So let me take another whiz break, and against my better judgment, I will have another cup of coffee. Why not? You know, I'm finding that the coffee and the rage and all of that good stuff. I'll take a quick break. Hold on, we'll be right back. All right, here we go. Very good. So that was weird. Not weird. I mean, not a problem or anything, but so I got up to go to the bathroom, and as I was going to the bathroom, I got a text. The text was from my mom. You know, you got to look at mom text. I'm like, Mom, what's she fucking texting me for? So it says, Mom, and she's like, I'm at the front door. Let me in. Oh, got a visitor. That's nice. So that was just weird. I was just, well, okay. So Mom is hanging out in the living room now. So I can promise you that I'll be a little bit more subdued, because I'm always a little bit more subdued when I know that people that I care about are witnessing, this. So I'm sure she watches the stream, and I don't process that in the moment. I don't think about that. But now she can hear me screaming. So we're going to be a little bit more subdued, and that's okay, because we've been pretty hyped all day.
Mom had a medical procedure today. We don't talk about these things because, as Frank pointed out, HIPAA and all of that stuff. I'm illegal. It's illegal for me. No, but because people's privacy. She had a little bit of a medical thing today, and she's out and about running around with her husband. So they just stopped by the Kelly Moore North Studios. She's right now out there in the living room. She's watching something. I want to enjoy yourself. Hope you're not watching me. All right. Maddie, by the way, my mom says, hey. My mom says hello to Maddie. My mom heard, a couple of weeks ago, she's like, you were talking about Maddie. Is that Maddie from Thanksgiving? And I go, yeah. She's like, how? She's so much fun. How are her and John? And I'm like, well, it's not, Mom. It's years ago. People don't always work out. Anyway, so there you go. I'm sorry, Maddie. I should have told you my mom says hello. Sends her love. Now I want to do something that I'm a little nervous about. But I don't know. I don't think I should be nervous. Why would I be nervous about this? Well, for one, because it's planting a political flag. It is aligning behind somebody that, I think is worthy of our attention. I tell you all the time that, it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. I don't give a shit about these badges, these little teams that they join and then, wear those uniforms for their entire career. Quite frankly, if we're being honest, people should jump back and forth between the parties as the parties themselves change. The people should not change, well, unless new information changes them. But I mean, morally and principally why. Personal platforms of an individual should probably not change throughout their life. They're either good or they're pieces of shit. Political parties change all the time. The individuals stay with that party. Very rare is it that somebody jumps to a different party because either the party has moved away from me or whatever. So I don't like people who are a part of parties. I like people who are people. I like people who say things that nobody else is saying. People who say things that we need to hear. Things that we already know, but things that need to be spoken out loud. Why? Because we've got a whole bunch of problems. I don't know if you've paid attention to the first 2 hours and 46 minutes of the show, but we've been outlining a number of problems that we face here in society. So we are looking for people, because we ain't doing it. We're looking for people who can help us right this ship. Now, what I always say is that I'm looking for my Mr. Smith. Where the hell is my Mr. Smith? And if you don't get that reference, well, watch a fucking Frank Capra film, okay? Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Jimmy Stewart. I can't tell you how many generations of young wannabe public servant politician has been inspired by their first viewing of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. It's a story of a guy, a small town fucking rural dude, Jimmy Stewart. So you already know he's a good man because Jimmy Stewart doesn't play child molesters. So Jimmy Stewart is Mr. Smith, and he finds himself suddenly a senator in Washington, D.C., and he is bringing his values and his just core decency to this body, the Senate. And just watch the movie. Just watch the movie. If you've never seen it, it is an amazing movie. And at the end of it, you will, no matter how cynical you are politically, at the end of it, you should at least have a little bit of restored hope for what man can do when man is decent. So that's what I always say. I look for these people. And you also know that I am only good at two things in this world. I am good at miniature golf and judging people. Those are the two things that I am a fucking elite level at. There was a professional miniature golf league. I promise you, I would not be doing this stream because I'd be living on my private island because I would be the Michael Jordan of miniature golf. No one has ever beaten me. No one will ever beat me. Just ask my son. Let's be honest, I've only probably played like 10 times in my life, but I've never lost. I've never lost. Greatest miniature golf player you've ever known, right here. Can't golf for shit. Real golf is like, fuck that. That's miniature golf and judging people. Now, I don't know what this is. My therapist says that this is because of my qualities that you get when you are an empath. When you are somebody who just fucking feels things differently than other people. It's not a superpower. It's not a psychic ability or anything like that. Many of us have it. People who cry at movies, may in fact be empaths. People who cry at AT&T commercials during Christmas, they might be empaths. There are a whole bunch of things that go into it, but I don't know what I was talking about. I do know what I knew. I do know the overarching subject that I want to talk about, though. This happens. It's a stream of consciousness. When I don't have anyone to talk to, sometimes I jump on. You know how it works. So I've been looking for my Mr. Smith. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if he's a Republican. I'll tell you one thing. There's this Republican down there in Kentucky who I would have never in a million years thought would hold my attention, but Thomas Massey's holding my attention. Thomas Massey is the only fucking Republican MAGA guy. And I don't even know that he's MAGA. He probably not anymore if he ever was. But he's the only one out there that is actually going, we have a pedophile president. Is nobody else seeing this? This guy promised to do all of this stuff and he's not doing any of it. And there's a law and he's circumventing the law. And he's saying, I don't fucking care. And he's flipping off auto work. Thomas Massey has my attention. Adam Kinzinger. Fucking, I've always liked Adam Kinzinger, even when I thought that he was, carrying water early on for Trump. He was. Adam Kinzinger early on was I'm going to take it a wait and see thing. But then this all-American fighter pilot from rural Illinois. I mean, you want to talk about a Mr. Smith type. Adam Kinzinger was the Mr. Smith type. And when Trump started acting up very early on, he was the lone Republican who said, yeah, they're asking me to go along with this, but here are the problems. So what happened to Adam Kinzinger? His political career was absolutely destroyed by the overwhelming wave of MAGA bullshit. And now, I don't know where he is. He's a good man. He's a good man. He's a good man because despite the fucking overturning of his career, he stood on principle. And he said, this is wrong. This guy is obviously wrong. Like him, he's probably a good judge of character due to his empath abilities. But there ain't a whole lot of other ones. I will tell you that there is that Maggie Goodlander. She's fucking kind of awesome. I'm watching her. Mm-hmm. The chick they just elected to the governorship of Virginia. She's fucking interesting. I kind of like her. Former CIA analyst and, is really big on foreign affairs. Kind of like her. But that's it. I mean, just about everybody else that you see. I mean, everybody else is a Ron Johnson, Ted Cruz, fucking one day they're this, the next day they're that. I mean, anybody that was a never Trumper who now carries water for this clown is an example of what I'm talking about. Because there were a lot of never Trumpers. Ted Cruz. Donald Trump called Ted Cruz's wife ugly. And Ted Cruz is now like, he's the greatest president ever. It's an indication of what a person is at their core. You call my wife, you call my mom, you call my kid, you could publicly throw that out there. Politics or no politics, human beings react to that shit. Ted Cruz is not a human being. So he, of course, checked the way the wind was blowing and then completely changed. But that's okay because he is one of those guys that's starting to waver because he's starting to see that the winds are changing and it's becoming okay to now question all of the things that you initially questioned because you knew they were wrong, but you went with for a bunch of years because you figured, well, I'm here. That's gutless. It's cowardice. It's unprincipled. And it is exactly what we've come to expect from our politicians. So I'm looking for people who don't fit into that mode. Well, I found one. And I have never been so blown away by a young politician as I have by this fucking kid from Texas. James Tallarico. He's running for Senate down there in Texas. And he's a state representative. He was one of the evil Democrats who fled. Remember that? If you listen to James Tallarico and your response is, fuck that guy, it's only because they put a D next to his name. That's it. And that's an indication that you're broken. It's an indication that you are broken and you cannot be trusted to actually make decisions like who runs the government. That's been a big problem that I've had with media for years and years and years. I was saying 20 years ago, you got to take the D's and the R's away from these people when they're talking on TV. Instead of it being, Mitch McConnell, Republican from Kentucky, how about just Mitch McConnell from Kentucky? Why do you have to lay a bias down? Because there are way too many of us that no matter what the person is seeing, the minute we see the R or the D, we are going to say they're telling me the truth or he's a lying liberal. Get rid of those. Do you have any idea of how much better we would be as people if the news media would have adopted that 20 years ago? If we were actually just forced to listen to what these people were saying without just going, oh yeah, he's one of mine. What he's saying. Shut up and let him talk. You're not even listening. No, but he's one of mine. Whatever he's saying is because, or the opposite. Fucking black woman congressman from California with a D. Nobody's listening to her in a red hat. Nobody. So that's one of the things that we can do. That's if I ran a newsroom, that would have been my first thing. Stop identifying these people by their parties. Let people listen to them. And so when I talk about James Tallarico, who is definitely a Democrat from Texas, when I talk about James Tallarico, what I'm asking you to do is just fucking forget that he is aligning himself with what you perceive to be the opposition, the Democratic Party. Just fucking forget that and just listen to this man. Listen to the way he speaks. Listen to his calm. Listen to his decency. Now, the DNC, they're making another huge mistake in Texas. The DNC is lining up behind Jasmine Crockett because she's next or whatever. She's been on TV and the Republicans hate her, so we're going to run her and she's going to get her fucking ass whipped. Not a fucking chance Jasmine Crockett can win statewide in Texas. Not after how she's been branded. And I'm not saying that these are all true. I'm saying that she's been around long enough that the opposition, the Republicans, already know her inside and out, and they are ready. But the DNC, who can't stop tripping over their dicks, which is why I say that we have no opposition in this country. Democrats are as bad. For completely different reasons. But I suppose if you were an inherently decent person and you needed somebody to align with in Texas, you would probably align yourself with the Democrats for all their flaws. But the DNC doesn't see it that way. The DNC sees Jasmine Crockett. She's a black woman for Texas. That's what we should run. James Tallarico, we're the Democrats. We can't get behind him because he's a rural white Christian. Yeah, and he's hardcore Christian. He's a real Christian. He's the kind of Christian that I fucking admire. But he's got a D in front of his name. So all of you people think he's a pinko communist. He might be the most genuinely good politician that I have ever seen. So let's listen to a little bit about him because I know that if you're on the right, you don't know who the fuck this guy is. The DNC doesn't want him. The DNC doesn't want him to get popular because his message doesn't align with the big fucking West Coast donors and their chicks with dicks argument and all of that nonsense. So they don't want this white rural guy from Texas who is also a Christian because Democrats can't support a Christian. So they're going with Jasmine Crockett and her fucking fingernails. And by the way, let me just say that I do not have a problem with Jasmine Crockett. I think she is a ballsy chick. I think she's a little extreme, but I think that for the people that she represents, she's got to be a little bit extreme. She would have to change that to run statewide and certainly have to really change it if she was going to run nationwide. See Kamala Harris. See how she changed from when she was running for local office in California as a district attorney and how she changed when she was running for... People change. But decency and principles and an anchor to your morality typically doesn't change you. And I think that this fucking guy who you hate, many of you, because he's got a D in front of his name, needs to be listened to. Oh, and I know. How do you with you got a closet full of red hats. You're a good Christian like Trump. How do you vote for a Dem? Oh my God. Adam says, what actual proof do you have that they are backing her? I don't. I don't have actual proof other than the person here. I was trying to make a joke. I do have fucking proof. One of the reasons that I moved back here was to try and get some fucking money from some Democratic power here in Chicago. And yeah, I've had this conversation with people who are high ranking. I haven't gotten to Axe yet. That's where I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get a fucking meeting with Axe because Axe runs the Democratic funding here in Chicago. Gotten close. I know a guy who works with him. But, no, they are behind Jasmine Crockett. They haven't made their full donations public yet, and they certainly haven't, planted a flag officially. But they are not giving the support to James Tallarico that I think the DNC should if they want to win in Texas. If they want Texas to do what happened in Georgia, they're going to have to back somebody like Tallarico because Texas and Georgia are very different. I'm sorry to say it about Texas, but you almost have to be white. Or white Mexican like Ted Cruz. That's good. That'll get you. But if you want to run for state office currently in Texas, if you want to change this goddamn corrupt bullshit that we have under Paxson and Abbott and all of these clowns that you've handed the keys over to for all of these years, if you want to change that, you're going to have to win with a white guy. I'm sorry. I know Adam doesn't like white people, so that's a problem for him. Adam probably doesn't like James Tallarico simply because he's white. I don't know. I would think, knowing that Adam is inherently a good person when all the bravado and nonsense is stripped away, I would think that Adam would support somebody like Tallarico, but I don't know. But I do have some proof. And this is pretty much the reason right now. Thank you, Maddie. Maddie knows the DNC can't control Tallarico because he hasn't been in the system, because he comes from the state of Texas as a representative. He doesn't come from, Congress or anything like that. He hasn't been funneled and fucked over by the DNC, and he hasn't been brought to heel. He is still out there free balling it as a fucking moderate Texan. They're not necessarily like that because he is a Christian. Because he does have some purely Christian values that do conflict with the DNC on a certain number of issues. Nothing terrible. In fact, shit that I probably agree with him on. They're all morality based. So let's listen. I want you to listen to a little bit of this guy, and I want you to strip away the D. I want you to fucking get out of your political bag and listen to what this guy is saying. And I ask you, why the fuck wouldn't you vote for this guy? Why wouldn't you support this guy? Unless you're broken. You're broken, you're mentally ill, you're carrying water for people who don't give a shit about you. Whatever it is. All right, so I want to play a couple of these. And these are all really quick little... Here's James Tallarico. Now, he's like a reverend too or something. He went to Bible school. Or, he went to some university, some... So he's a legitimate fucking hardcore Texas good boy Christian, okay? Hold on. Let me get rid of this. Adam says, I'm anti-Democratic Party. Yeah, so am I. I am absolutely anti-Democratic Party. I'm anti-Republican Party. Absolutely. All right, so let's listen to a little bit of this guy. Here's James Tallarico on the subject of religion and how religion has been used. Remember, this is a Democrat. This is a libtard, if you will. Rural Texan James Tallarico on the subject of Christianity. By the way, let's note, he is a real fucking Christian.
These politicians want a Christian nation unless it means providing health care to the sick or funding food assistance for the hungry or raising the minimum wage for the poor. And so it seems like they want to base our laws on the Bible until they read the words of Jesus. Welcome the stranger, liberate the oppressed, put away your sword, sell all your possessions and give the money to the poor. I mean, I'm not exactly sure a Christian nation is really what these people want. Again, I believe the separation of church and state is sacred. I think a nation with one supreme religion is not just un-American. I also think it's un-Christian, given how Jesus taught about religious supremacy. But I do think if these people are going to call for a Christian nation, they need to reach for all of it. And that is, I fought the bill to require the 10 Commandments posted in every classroom. And I've often wondered, instead of posting the 10 Commandments in every classroom, why don't they post money is the root of all evil in every boardroom? Why don't they post do not judge in every courtroom? Why don't they post turn the other cheek in the halls of the Pentagon? Or it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into the kingdom of heaven on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. This is the inconsistency I'm trying to call out, because they're using my tradition. They're speaking for me. And so I think I have a special moral responsibility to combat Christian nationalism wherever I see it.
I mean, he's absolutely right. These are not real Christians. These are the mega churches, evangelicalism, all of this shit. The people who are not Christian in any way, shape, or form. I would go back in the days of 105.3. We'd go out partying. Oh, let's go party. We're partying. We end up in a strip club on Saturday night with a bunch of dudes who are like, yeah, I got to get going. I got to go to church in the morning, praise Jesus and all that. Christianity among most Christians, I would say about 75 to 80% of Christians, Christianity is just a team you joined. It's just a team you joined that you were never given a choice. I say it all the time. When you were 3 days old, very first thing you probably saw was some grandma leaning over your bassinet going, Jesus loves you. You were never given a choice. From the earliest memory, you knew this is mom, this is dad, that's dog, Jesus loves me. I'd say a good 80% of Christians have never actually gone, okay, let's break this down. Let's, because I know I've always just kind of taken for granted that it's true. Well, let's break this down. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. And because nobody does that, as you matriculate through your Christian upbringing or whatever, you are manipulated by people who have agendas. And you drift further and further away from the actual word of Christ. And goddamn, I don't want, there, look at me using profanity. I don't want to get into this conversation. You know me, I think faith is very personal. Yeah, 80% of you who run around calling yourselves Christian, I don't think you're Christians. I think you've just joined a team. And James Tallarico is pointing that out right there because that guy is real Christian. Which, if I'm being honest, I do not consider a plus for him. I consider that, look, I believe that the mass delusion of believing in these things without questioning it is a form of mental illness. So where we are again. Yes, just not question the most important subject, the most important aspect of life. You as a human being told this from the time you were 2 days old, never questioning it. Yes, I think that's a mental illness. I think that is a deficiency in your ability to critically think. All right, now let's play this next clip. This is the rage economy. Now, this is why I wanted to do that. This is the second one. We're only going to do two, but this is the second one. And I just wanted to play this one because I guess I had never heard it put together this way. I don't think I've ever heard the term rage economy. But this is James Tallarico, candidate for Senate in Texas, who's talking about the rage economy. He's telling the truth. And there is no member of the Republican or the Democratic Party who relies on Silicon Valley for funding or all big tech to get on their side, whether they're conservative big tech or liberal big tech, doesn't matter. Nobody will say the things that this guy is saying right now about those people. So let's listen to this. This is James Tallarico on the conversation, the subject of the rage economy. Here we go. Again, James Tallarico running for senator in Texas. How could you not be proud to be represented by somebody like this? Let's listen.
The billionaires who own...
What is to you the rage economy?
I just mentioned the billionaires who own the algorithms and the news networks. They have created for-profit platforms that, with these predatory algorithms that divide us on an hourly, daily basis.
Okay, you get what he's saying. Like, let's break this down. We'll go through this on steps, right? The billionaires, the Zuckerbergs, the Musks, the Bezoses, whoever, the Google boys, the billionaires have created these platforms that we're addicted to. We've already talked about how, it is a very real thing. The rush we get in our head, it's a drug addiction. It's the same thing that happens when we shoot shit into our veins. This just happens in a different way. We get stimulated. We get these endorphin bursts. Rage economy. So these have been created by these billionaires, and now they're using algorithms to make sure that we get all of the stuff that gives us those fucking bursts. This is not a conspiracy theory. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This is real. This is just happening. This is why everybody hates everybody on social media, because they're giving us what our most prurient desires are. It's another thing about humanity. I've always said we are born pieces of shit. A human baby, if left to its own instincts over the course of its life, is going to be a piece of shit. It is difficult fighting our instinctive, natural desires to survive at the expense of others. It is difficult fighting that. Being good, again, goes back to being raised by people who are good, who instill those values. That's hard. So when we are introduced to this thing, this fucking box that we go on and we get to rage and all of our worst instincts are filled, oh, we love it and we get addicted to that. And remember, people are making money off that, okay? That's what this is all about. If there was no money to be made in stoking your anger and stirring you up, if there was no money to be made in that, we wouldn't have Twitter. And that's what he's pointing out. And he's right. And nobody is saying this.
For-profit platforms that, with these predatory algorithms that divide us on an hourly, daily basis, dividing us by party, by race, by gender, by religion. And they elevate the most extreme voices very strategically to provoke our outrage, to provoke our anger, because that leads to more clicks, which leads to more money for them. Because anger sells, hate sells, fear sells. These billionaires and their platforms are engineering our emotions so they can profit off of our pain. They are selling us conflict right into our bloodstream, and they're calling it connection. It's almost like feeding someone empty calories. And I think it's left people starving for actual community, for real relationship.
I mean, all right, we'll move on. But again, if that guy didn't have a D next to his name, I bet everybody would fucking go, yeah, thanks for saying that. But he's got a D, so he's got to be a libtard. He's got to want your daughter to have to fight a dude in her intramural boxing class at university. That's what he must be, because he's got a D in front of his name. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Christians, we did that. Oh, hey, here's a funny video we can watch. I was talking about Ted Cruz earlier. Ted Cruz in 2016. Remember how I said Ted Cruz used to be anti-Trump? Ted Cruz said something in 2016 that was found and is now circulating, and it is just, here's how far we have gone over the edge, okay? Ted Cruz in 2016 is hypothetically imagining what it would be like if we elected Trump president. Now, this was at a time when he was against Trump. Again, this is Ted Cruz being a bit dramatic in 2016, because certainly what he said could never even remotely be a possibility. So let's listen to this. This is fucking great. This is Ted Cruz from back in 2016 talking about what'll happen if we elect Trump. And by the way, look how young Ted Cruz looks. This is pre-Cancun, right? This is pre-Cancun Ted Cruz.
We need someone with judgment and the temperament to keep this country safe. I don't know anyone who would be comfortable with someone who behaves. We're able to wake up one morning and Donald, if he were president, would that's not the temperament of a leader to keep this country safe. We need a president.
All right, that's all. We don't need any more of that. That is an example to you of how fucking low we have made the bar, how we have incrementally normalized the most absurd things. That was 10 years ago. He was being silly. I mean, could you imagine if we wake up one morning and we're nuking Denmark? Meanwhile, we are now saber rattling at Denmark. Come on, man. None of you people. Look, I guess if we all just accept the fact that we're going to die someday and whatever, we have a limited amount of spins on this blue marble. So why not just goof off and not care about anything? That's fine. If that's the way you want to feel, I wish I could feel that way, but I can't. I feel like our time here needs to mean something, and I really don't want to be a part of the generation that 500 years from now they look back on and go, ha ha, those fucking people, those primitives. By the way, we're still primitive. I believe that we are still primitive. I know we like to look back on the ancient Egyptians or the medieval times and we go, they were primitive savages. I think we are more primitive. We have not moved from the primitive stage of humanity yet. Probably got another 1,000, 2,000 years. And I do think the popularity of organized religion is an indication of how we're still primitive. We're still... Yeah, the Norse gods and the Greek gods and whoever the sun fucking pharaoh that they worshipped or whatever, that's all silly. But the angel and the walking on water and you don't have leprosy anymore. That's not silly. No, that's not. We're still fucking primitives. Okay, we're still primitives. Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is the other thing. J.D. Vance, he's another one. This is why J.D. Vance needs to die in prison as well. I don't know what the charge is going to be, but I assume when all this dust settles, we're going to find something on that guy that we're going to be able to take him out of rotation. J.D. Vance, yeah, called Trump Hitler before he saw how advantageous it could be to him personally. These are your people. These are the people that you go, well. And, that's the other thing. You people who, and that's fine. Look, if you want to move away from it now, good. I'm glad you've come to your senses, and I'm glad you're like, yeah, I mean, I voted for him, but I didn't expect this nonsense. I'm glad. Good to hear it. But you know what you don't get to say anymore? You know what nobody gets to say anymore? He was better than Kamala. Oh, fuck you. Oh, fuck you. No. What? In like 14 colleges around the country, there might be chicks with dicks swimming or something. If Kamala had, that would have been insufferable. How would we as a nation? Shut your mouth. Kamala was not a good choice. But if you had known that Trump was going to do this shit, would you still have been running around the Monday before the Tuesday election going, well, he's better than Kamala? Fucking morons. Amy says, don't really like Cruz, especially now, but we wouldn't be where we are right now if he'd been the candidate that came on top instead of Trump. Say that about anybody. I mean, Cruz is a bad guy. Cruz is a very smart opportunist who has, decided that morality and running a con his entire adult life is perfectly comfortable. He's perfectly fine with it. He is the guy, and you should be surprised by that because once again, he's the kind of guy who allows another fat billionaire to call his wife ugly. And then he's just like, yeah, he's right. My wife is ugly. Oh, Pugs, he's got to get over it. No, I'm a man. And if you're a man, you know that that's a bridge too far. You know it. You're making excuses because you're radicalized and you think, well, why? Why'd he do that? Ted Cruz did that because Ted Cruz is not a man. He's not a man. I'm sorry. It's just not a thing. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? Calling Trump Hitler. Yeah, we already did that one. Hide that. All right. Let's see. What else? Let's move on. Oh boy, I don't want to do this one today. Oh God, we've gone too far today. I don't want to do this. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's talk about Ashley St. Clair. We'll do that one tomorrow. We'll do that tomorrow. We've already done enough things that are really upsetting in the normalization category. I've got something I wanted to talk about today, but we've already done too much on that side of the fence, if you will. So I don't want to do that today. We'll do that tomorrow. Let's talk about Ashley St. Clair. You guys know who Ashley St. Clair is? Well, none of us knew who Ashley St. Clair was until she fucking got knocked up by Elon Musk. Which, that's not real. I wouldn't categorize it as knocked up. I would categorize it as mission accomplished. My question is this. Why can't Elon Musk get really hot chicks? None of the chicks he's ever been linked with are like really hot. They're all like kind of mid. Now, I bring up Ashley St. Clair because she was the lone example that I would have argued that no, he's pulled some really hot chicks. You ever seen that Ashley St. Clair? And then I realized that the only time I've ever seen Ashley St. Clair are in photographs that she's posted to her Instagram. Now, forgetting for a moment, because I am a man of a certain age, that Instagram has all kinds of filters and stuff, and you can change. I don't like my nose. I want to change it. So imagine my surprise when I finally saw Ashley St. Clair in real life yesterday, and I'm like, what? She ain't that hot. I'll show you what I mean. Deception. Here, let's see. Let's find that. I'll show you the picture that always goes around whenever anybody talks about her. So this is the picture. This is her image. All right. This is who we think of. Where is she? Hold on. Oh, where's the picture? There's one picture that I wanted to show you. Well, these are all. Man, she's pretty hot. Yeah, here you go. Okay, so this is like the smoke show picture that people always show when they talk about Ashley St. Clair. Here we go. There she is. Right? There she is. There she is. Split screen with Elon. Look at her. Man, oh man, does she look good. Oh boy. This is less about her and more about him, and we'll get that in a second. But look at her, right? That's a great picture. All of her pictures are like some variation of that. And she shows up on CNN last night. Here, look at this. This is what she really looks like. And not at all like that. Oh, no. Oh, fudge. It's Mediaite. It's Mediaite. That means they're going to make us sit through a fucking 30-minute commercial. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, and they're going to make me stay on it? I click off the window and it pauses. I should mention that she was on CNN last night because apparently Elon Musk is trying to go for full custody, which he'll get because he's Elon Musk. He'll get it, whatever the fuck he wants. All right, wait, here you go. All right, let's watch this. Now, remember that picture I showed you of her? So here she is. Here she is. And then look, and again, I don't want to, overstate this. She's not a fucking Shrek chick. No, she's fine. But she ain't what those pictures say she is. See, look at her right there. All right. So I'm watching. I'm like, oh, yeah, get a look at what I bet she's going to be wearing something cute. I'm getting all ready. Oh, wait a second. It's not sharing. Oh, my God, you guys. I'm sorry. God darn it. Here we go. We got it now. Fudge. I hate myself sometimes. There we go. Now we're sharing. Thought it was sharing.
Ashley St. Clair says Grok was used to create deep fake sexual images of
All right, so there she is. That's the hot Ashley St. Clair. This is what I look like after
her,
filters.
including photos of her as a child. And St. Clair is not the only one who is reporting these types of disturbing images.
Whatever.
Its impact.
Grok is showing
Musk is now
child porn.
facing Asia and Malaysia.
Right.
No responsibility.
Now he's
Ashley
going
St.
after
Clair is out front now. And
Here we
Ashley,
go.
I really appreciate your taking the time to come on and talk about this because This is crucial for women, for children, for families around the world. So Musk says Grok generated 0 naked underage images. But you say it undressed you in several photos, including one of when you were 14 years old?
That's correct. And what he said is deceptive.
All right, there you go. That's what she looks like in real life. Perfectly fine. But that isn't this, right? That's not the same thing as this. That is completely different. That is a misrepresentation. I was giving Elon Musk credit for, that. And it turns out she's just fucking rando normal. This is like a 12. In reality, she's not that. She's not a 12. That's the reality of it. All right, everything's a lie. She's not terrible. She's a pretty girl. But quite frankly, the pictures that were presented were pictures of a girl that I would never approach in a bar because I wouldn't think I'd have any shot in hell. That one, the reality, I'd approach her. I'd totally fucking hit on her. She doesn't scare me. Here's the sun again. We're at that point in the day, 3:20-ish. I think that's when the sun's going to start screwing with me here. That's all right. We'll get through it. That was apropos of nothing. Here's a badass chick. I will show this one too. I wanted to share this story with you. I like this chick. This is a young girl. This is a young girl who's got more fight in her as far as the opposition goes than anybody else. Let's listen to this chick. Here you go. Just a little inspiration whenever you think that the next generation is failing us. Here we go.
Last night. Thank you to the 20 people that tried to let me.
Oh, it needs some context. This girl went on Laura Ingraham last night or a couple of nights ago. And she's apparently a part of a student protest movement or something. So she went on with fucking Fox News' Ava Braun. And she was set up to be a dupe. That's what they do. They book somebody that Laura can fucking humiliate on TV so that all the far-right wackos will go, yep, that's representative of every child that's out there. It's that whole thing. So anyway, she went on Laura Ingraham, and apparently her whole family got mad at her because her whole family is fucking stupid MAGA people who love Laura Ingraham, and they're like, why did you get yelled at by Laura Ingraham for being a libtard? So that's basically what she's addressing here, okay? That's what she's talking about.
I was on Laura Ingraham last night. Thank you to the 20 people that tried to let me know beforehand. Unfortunately, my parents were watching that broadcast live. I get a lot of comments from people saying that they're very proud of me and they know my parents are too, and I hate to break it to you, but my parents are actually very much ashamed of me. In fact, my entire adult family is very ashamed of my political views, and that makes no difference to me. This is not a sob story of my life. I'm very ashamed in their choice.
This is a really bright, articulate young woman. This ought to scare the shit out of people because most people are stupid. This is a very articulate, well thought out, direct young woman.
As well. But my father texted me to ask, why did I see you on Laura Ingraham? Are you a part of one of these groups? And I will say to you exactly what I said to him. So Fox News, if you want to broadcast anything, put this on my tombstone. I am a part of no group. I am an American. I believe in freedom and equality for everyone. I do not care about your immigration status. I care about the content of your heart because I don't serve an earthly king. I am no lame dog. I am no blind sheep, and I will bend no knee to no tyrant. And I would rather see America burn down than this terroristic administration succeed. And that's exactly how I feel about it. There's your news clip.
Okay. All right. That's what we need. We need more of that. I don't agree with everything that she said there. I think that there's a way, but I'm still a bit of a pussy who was raised in the 80s. But holy shit. How impressive is that young lady? That is a woman who knows what it is to be an American. God bless her. God bless her and fuck her stupid family. She is absolutely a badass. That is a badass young lady. Let's see. Okay, now we're going to go into some Todd Bridges stuff. Did you guys see this? Todd Bridges is in the news today. Todd Bridges, of course, Willis. What you talk about, Willis? Willis from Different Strokes. He's in the news today. You know why Todd Bridges is in the news? Well, did he kill somebody? That would be he's either dead of an overdose or he did something humiliating that's got him in it, right? That's why Todd Bridges isn't exactly a relevant person that, just everyday mundane shit should get headlines. But the fact that he's getting a divorce, Todd Bridges, is making some headlines. Oh, it's a story. Not for any reason. Not like he's a big ladies. He's single again. It's not like one of those kind of deals. Like if this story didn't have a certain aspect to it, nobody would know today that Todd Bridges is getting a divorce. Nobody would. It's not a story. Todd Bridges is divorcing his wife of 12 years. She's going to move on with their 2 kids. TMZ ain't reporting that. The Hollywood Reporter ain't reporting that. AP ain't picking that up. No, nobody gives a shit about that. The reason this is a story is because we all found out this morning that Todd Bridges Willis from Different Strokes married a tranny. That's what we all found out, and that's why it's a story. That's the only reason it's a story, to exploit. Once again, here we go, another example of the media that we've created and given all our money to. I don't really try to inform. They just try to trigger us with something. Todd Bridges is not a news story unless he's dead. And it's one of those things. Sad news today out of Hollywood. Former Hollywood child star Todd Bridges was found, whatever. That's the only Todd Bridges story that is relevant to media, unless they're trying to trigger you or get you somehow riled up by showing you exactly what I'm about to show you. Todd Bridges married a tranny. That's kind of wild. Here you go. Here's the story. Let me show you some pictures here. Todd Bridges and his wife. Guys, I'm preparing you. It ain't a good one. All right? I don't know what. God loved people making choices. Love is love. If you love, they loved each other. They don't anymore because they're getting a divorce. But if they loved each other, God bless it. It doesn't need to be something that I either approve of or not. Who the fuck am I? I don't care. I love pizza. I would marry pizza. So I'm not judging. I'm just saying that. So I got a friend who's married to a trans person. I should say, old friend anyway. Jim Norton. Jim Norton from the old Opie and Anthony show married a trans person. All right, good for him. Not a surprise. Jim's always been very open about his interest in that world. Now, his whole core is that he's shocking. He's very funny, though, too. He's very funny, but also never afraid to shock. So Jim Norton, he's married to a trans woman. And when you see Jim Norton's wife, you're like, I don't know, if I had a couple of beers, maybe. I mean, Jim Norton's wife is pretty. Jim Norton is married to a pretty trans. All right. Passable, I believe, is the terminology that they use. Thank you, Al. Al, the delay is now showing that Al didn't hear me. I'm in the midst of talking about Jim Norton, and all of a sudden I see Al's comedian Jim Norton is also with one. Yeah. Jim Norton is with a trans woman. Jim Norton is with someone who has a penis who otherwise looks like a very attractive woman. That's what I would say about Jim Norton's choice. I don't know if it makes any difference. Todd Bridges didn't do that. Todd Bridges did not go that direction. Here's Todd Bridges and his wife. This is it's interesting. I'm not casting any judgments. Just undeniably, this is interesting. This is interesting. There we go. There's Todd Bridges and his 6'5" powerlifting trans wife. I'm laughing because, come on, we're in an absurd world. This is fine. I hope the kids aren't affected. Ho. Point is this. I got no problem with this, but he married an ugly. This is not a good trans. This is not a good trans. This is a dude. This looks very much like a dude. So, again, I'm not judging. I'm just pointing out the obvious. Jim, there are trans women out there who look very passable, and you're like, well, a couple of beers, I guess. No, but this is not one of them situations. What's the story here? Oh, God. Jesus. I can't. Anyway, that's all you need to know. There is no real details to it. Todd Bridges married it's a crazy thing. This is how irrelevant Todd Bridges is. Wouldn't you have thought that when he got married to this person that, there would have been some exploitation of it? Like TMZ would have been like, Todd, wishing Todd Bridges a happy nuptial, right? That would be the veneer that they would use to present it. And then they'd show that picture looking for the response from us going, oh my God. Because nobody gives a fuck that Todd Bridges got married or divorced other than this aspect of it. So you may sit here and you're like, Pugs, you're just sitting here bashing on trans people. No, I'm not. I'm trying to show you another example of how the media manipulates you at every fucking turn, okay? This is not a story. But it is wild. I'll give you that. All right, I'm going to show another piece of video here. This comes to us from one of those. New York's got a lot of interesting shit going on that doesn't get covered. For instance, New York City has daily pro-Palestinian rallies and people. We're seeing all the footage of Minneapolis, but we've got Jew-on-Jew crime occurring in New York. Yeah, Jew-on-Jew. Because there are groups, Orthodox Jewish groups, who are, at least if you were to listen to their side of it, these Orthodox Jewish groups don't give a fuck about Israel. Israel is just a country. They are Orthodox Jews who live in America, and as Jews, they can objectively look at the situation and say, you know what, they ought to stop fucking carpet bombing a bunch of people in Gaza. So that is the position of the Orthodox Jews. Now, you know who the Orthodox Jews are. They're the ones with the cool curls and the funny Abe Lincoln hats and the weird Amish suits. All right, it's a whole mishmash of all these different sort of cultural anomalies that we have here in this country. But then there is the modern New York City Jewish person who, no matter what, they are always going to be on the side of Israel. These are the American Jews who, for whatever reason, and again, not a judgment, but these people feel very deeply about the nation of Israel, to the extent that I think they feel more deeply about that nation than they do the nation they actually live in. Which, again, not a judgment. It just seems, because objectively, once again, I think that a normal person, a normal non-Jew, can look at the situation that was going on between Israel and Gaza, and you can come to the conclusion that Israel overdid it. Okay, they did. They overdid it for whatever reason. I don't know. But a normal person would be like, okay, stop. Right? It's one of those deals I always say we see it in movies where people get into a parking lot bar fight. And the guy's he's pounding on him. He's like, and then at some point, one person in the gathered crowd goes, all right, he's had enough. And it's, and then somebody was like, stop it, he'll kill him. That's what Israel was doing, okay? Doesn't matter what an asshole the person getting pummeled is. At some point, stop it or you'll kill him. And that is what I think an objective, reasonable person could say about what was happening between Israel and Gaza. So these kinds of little skirmishes are happening every day in the streets of New York City. Now, I want to show you a showdown between one group of Orthodox Jews and a woman who is, as I just described, somebody who is ride or die with Israel. They can do no wrong. She is an American Jew. This is how she feels. Now, what I want you to wait for, because there is a reveal at the end of this video that just shocked me, that I was just absolutely shocked by. And I just thought to myself, what is this woman doing? All right, here you go. This is what we call Jew-on-Jew arguments in the streets of New York City. A very sensitive subject, Israel's role in the situation going on there in Gaza. And that's what they're arguing about. All right, so I know it's fairly easy for you to tell, right, who the two sides are. You know who the Orthodox Jews are, who are supporting the idea that Israel needs to back off. And then, of course, this blonde woman is the American Jew who's all about, Zionism and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what we're looking at. Now, let's listen.
Zionism is a political movement which is causing bloodshed.
Zionism is a political movement that is causing bloodshed, says this Orthodox Jew, which, by the way, that's a real Jew. I mean, that's a guy who's like, no, I'm taking this shit serious. I'm not just joining a temple so that I can make some business deals with other Jews.
This is because the actions of the Zionist people. They are responsible for the bloodshed.
That's who our ancestors.
We lived in a beautiful
What
peace.
flag is that? How can you say that? You're a Jew.
We lived in a beautiful peace with Palestinian people for hundreds of years.
How can you say that? You're not.
All right, she is beginning to lose absolute control. She is having a mental breakdown. That is what's going on with her. Watch. She has ceased to be able to rationally and reasonably process the information in the situation, okay? And she's beginning to fucking lose her shit.
You're not a Jew. You're not a Jew. How dare you?
When Zionism
You're
came
not a
in,
Jew.
when Zionism came in, they caused their bloodshed. They caused rivers of bloodshed.
How can you say that? You're Jewish.
Israel is responsible for 75 years of tragic bloodshed, okay? And so she's now, how can you say that you're a Jew? Because he's objective.
How can you cheat your own people?
Who is that Jew?
We're Jews. This is our people.
He was against Judaism. We're all Jews here.
Yeah, so how are they saying that?
Because they believe in God.
Because they believe in God. How can he say that? Because they believe in God, lady.
Genocide. I don't want that.
That's our country.
And the Talmud says our country like that.
That is our country.
See, this is an issue that I have with this woman's position. She seems to care more about Israel than she does about this country. She is claiming now that it's her country, and I don't know that that's a normal thing among American Jewish people, that they do see themselves as dual citizens. I don't see myself as a dual citizen with Ireland, so that's kind of problematic.
And the Talmud says our country like that.
That is our country. How dare you say that about our own people? What's wrong with you?
She's melting down. And now she's getting violent. She has now lost all reasonable control, and she's getting violent. Just remember, this woman is standing in this crowd surrounded by people who are screaming at her. She has willfully gone into this crowd to engage with these people, and she is losing her shit. Keep paying attention. Pretty chaotic, right? I mean, she should feel very threatened. There is a lot of stuff coming at her. She is not in control of herself. She's not being a responsible person right now because she is reacting to emotion and she is reacting to anger. She has every right to feel scared. She does. All of these things are very real and they feed into the way she's behaving. But again, watch. All right, now this guy's going to come in. He's going to white knight her. Okay, I don't know what this guy's deal is, but he's coming in to get her out of this situation because obviously this is crazy. She's not reacting normally. She's starting to have a bit of a mental breakdown. In his Madonna shirt. And his crazy glasses, whatever. Hey, any port in a storm. Somebody wants to come in and white knight her and get her out of there. Let's watch. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, she brought her baby into that. Yeah, she did. She brought her fucking baby into that. She made a choice. This is not a normal. This is a fucking mental case. She made a choice to engage with these people with her little innocent baby in the stroller. Look, I hope to God it's her baby. I do. Because if she's a fucking nanny and this is somebody else's kid, could you imagine how pissed you would be? This fucking idiot brought this little beautiful baby into this shit. I love the reveal now at the very end. After she's like, and then the pullback and you see the fucking baby.
Jewish people. Genocide. This is not what Jewish This is not the truth. This is not what Jewish was meant for. Shame, shame,
And get the fucking baby out of there, you bitch. Oh my God. She brought her baby into that shit. Again, that was my first question was that her baby or is she a fucking nanny? Because she might be a nanny. This is happening in Manhattan where, nannies go strolling with rich people's kids. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Billy. Modest Yahoo is not down with this lady and her bullshit. Anyway, that's crazy. Let's see. Who's this now? Al says Ben Shapiro is a good example of that. Good example of what? A pure Zionist American who, yeah, I mean, look, I don't get into the whole Zionist game. I've got so many friends who are Jew. I mean, Jewish people have been normal in my life, my entire life. I know that I got down to Texas and they're like, how many Jews do you know? And I'm like, well, like 40. I don't know. Really? Have you ever been with a Jewish girl? Yeah, I have, as a matter of fact. I've dated a couple Jewish girls. Wow, what was that like? Like dating an Italian girl? I don't know what you're looking for here. Right? Thank you, Amy. I mean, that's why I wonder, was she a nanny? Because that went viral. Did, somebody send the mom say, hey, isn't this your nanny? And isn't that your 2-year-old? Oh my God. Crazy. Just people making bad decisions. That's what we do. We like to track people making bad decisions. Kind of like Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark made a bad decision. We're going to move into our football aspect here. Ryan Clark, he is what is he? He's on TV because he's got a Super Bowl ring. That's it. And Ryan Clark's not a great safety. I guess we could call him much traveled. I know he's a Redskin. I know he retired a Steeler. Whatever. Ryan Clark is a talking head on ESPN. And he's just always saying shit that just makes me go, fuck this guy. What the? Haven't we gotten past this? So Mike Tomlin is the head coach of the formerly the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were like 20 years. Never had a losing season. Without question, one of the best coaches in the NFL. Adam Rayna hates his guts and thinks he absolutely sucks. But I will tell you that if you were to do a poll among people in the NFL, Mike Tomlin would make a top 5 list of the best coaches. Certainly among players. They love to play for him. He has never had a losing season. Got a Super Bowl. I think he's got 2. Does he got 2 with Ben? I don't know. Whatever. Wait, did Cowher get 1 with Ben? I don't know. It all blurs together. Point is this. Mike Tomlin has been an important part of the fabric of Steeler Nation for a good 2 decades, and he was let go. Let go or he resigned. We don't know. Here's what we do know. We do know that Mike Tomlin has a really great relationship with the Rooney family, and we know that the Rooney family loves him. So however this situation resolved itself where Mike Tomlin is no longer the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, it wasn't because of a screaming match in the team presidents. It wasn't. It was probably maybe it's time. I don't know. So whether he was let go or whether he just decided that he wanted to pursue some other things after 20 years, we don't know. But we do know that there is a long and well-established mutual admiration between Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. He loves them. They love him, but he's no longer their coach. Never had a losing season. Yeah, that's probably goodwill being what it is. Probably helps if you never have a losing season, that people will be like, yeah. I can tell you we have a very similar situation like that. Not very similar, but similar in that Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith was absolutely adored in this city. I don't believe Lovie Smith ever had a losing season with the Bears. He would regularly win the division and even brought the team to a Super Bowl one year with Rex fucking Grossman at quarterback. We loved Lovie. Lovie was admired in this town. Lovie got fired after an 11-win season. I mean, the Chicago Bear fans were like, in the moment, it felt right. Like in the moment, we were like, yeah, it's probably time to move on from old Lovie. Won 11 games, but we didn't make the playoffs. So let's move on from Lovie. And we've spent here in Chicago the last 20 years until we got Ben Johnson going, we should have never fired Lovey. Should have never fired Lovey. That's what happens. We like Lovey. It's the rare situation where a head coach gets fired and you still like him. And I bring it up because I believe that that's probably what's going on in Pittsburgh. Even the people who are like, they got to fire Tomlin, they're still 6, 9, 10, 12 months from now, they're having a beer and they'll be like, yeah, Tomlin was cool. People don't hate him. Ryan Clark said this here. I thought that there was some audio of this, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. But this was Ryan Clark, ESPN pundit. This was Ryan Clark's take on the Mike Tomlin situation. All right. Here, I'll make it bigger. All right. Ryan Clark says, we all know what this is about. If he was white, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's something that maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I'd have been like, yeah. The Mike Tomlin situation in Pittsburgh has nothing to do with race. And when Ryan Clark goes out there with his sizable platform and influence, and he says this shit in this time, with all the nonsense that's going on, it just infuriates me. He couldn't be more wrong. This has nothing to do with Mike Tomlin's skin color. And to say nothing of, the Pittsburgh Steelers are at the forefront of integration, executive integration. The Rooney Rule is the thing that requires teams to at least interview a certain amount of minority candidates. The Rooney Rule. That is named after Art Rooney. The guy who the founder of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are not that team. And Ryan Clark going out and trying to get clicks, get some kind of heat on him. And I don't hate Ryan Clark. I really don't. I watch a lot of sports content and I've seen a lot of what he says. I think that he's actually pretty smart and he seems articulate and I would trust him on any number of issues. But when he fucking puts this out there, I'm like, really? Really? Once again, 2026. We all know what this is about, talking about Mike Tomlin leaving. Again, we don't know what this is about because Mike Tomlin may have said, I want out. Why would he do that? Well, why would he do that? Well, I don't know, 20 years in one place. And let me do this. I promise you this. Mike Tomlin wants out of Pittsburgh. There will be a line forming in his driveway of other NFL teams who want to pay him more than he's making with Pittsburgh. This is not going to be, he's not out of work. He's not going to be looking for work. Mike Tomlin, Jesus, seriously, here's a conversation that I had with a friend of mine in Dallas yesterday. I asked him, I said, how in love do you think the Cowboys are with Shoddy now that you got fucking Harbaugh and Tomlin out there in the win available? Doesn't that seem like something that would catch the attention of Jerry Jones? I know that we all rallied around Shoddy and they fired Eberflus and Shoddy had this team playing. No, he didn't. Shoddy had a team that totally underperformed. The Cowboys should have been much better than they were. Why wouldn't Jerry fire Shoddy and bring in either Harbaugh or Tomlin if it was possible? Well, maybe because both Harbaugh and Tomlin would never work for Jerry Jones. Maybe that's it. Yeah, it is. Thank you, Bill. Bill says it's speculative nonsense, but it's not just nonsense. It's speculative mayhem. It is intentionally designed. I mean, unless he really believes it. And if he really believes that, then he's stupid. And again, it also needs to be pointed out. They're like, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. No, he does. He does. He's a Steeler. Ryan Clark was himself a Steeler. Ryan Clark, and this is why it's even more troubling, because you would think that Ryan Clark would actually have some inside information. Ryan Clark was a Steeler a couple of times in his career. He won a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers playing safety. I believe he came back after being a Washington Redskin for like one day and did that thing where you retire as a Steeler. So if he was afforded, Ryan Clark, that privilege, then I think that he would be someone you'd go, well, maybe Ryan knows what's going on inside the halls there in Pittsburgh. You would think. And then he says something like this. So it has credibility simply because of who this guy is. And I don't believe that there is any validity to what Ryan Clark is saying. But I do believe that Ryan Clark probably went, you know what? I need my algorithm to take a boost. So I'm going to put something out there that is so fucking nonsensical that my name will trend for 36 hours. And that's exactly what happened. It's all a game. I just wish, I'm telling you, at some point, I think maybe 60, 65, at some point I'm going to go, fuck it. I have no morals anymore. I'm 65 years old. I'm going to con everybody and I'm going to fucking make some money. Because trust me when I tell you, I've seen many ways over the years that I could have made shit tons of money if I was just a duplicitous piece of trash. But I'm not. When I'm 65, maybe after the first cancer diagnosis, that's when I'll start my fucking Ponzi thing. But Ryan Clark, I think he made a business decision. I think he decided that he was going to put some nonsense out there. He was going to leverage his credibility as somebody who might know something about what's going on inside Pittsburgh. And he was going to do it all for clicks and for buzz and for clout and for all of that stuff. So pretty ugly. Bill says speculative nonsense. Marvin Lewis was the Bengals coach for years, even when they sucked. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, apples and oranges. It's a different situation over there in Cincinnati. Cincinnati is, however, I should point out, Cincinnati is a legendarily racist city. Pittsburgh is not. Cincinnati is, and we're not drawing any comparisons because he's right. Marvin Lewis was there for a long time and he sucked. I just don't think that there is any longer this belief in league offices that black coaches are more expendable than white coaches. I don't believe that that's an attitude. I certainly don't believe it because most teams have black general managers who would make that decision. So what Ryan Clark said is just, it's troubling and I think it's ugly and I think he should have just kept his fucking mouth shut. Hey, yesterday I showed you some stuff that I thought was really fun. Remember we went through, you indulged me. We went through the Packer dorks, I called them, and we watched a long video of a whole bunch of Green Bay Packer live streamers. We watched a compilation of them watching their team fall apart, and it was really funny, and we all enjoyed it. Well, there were a couple of guys, Corey and, what's the other, is it Jason? I don't know. I think it's Corey and Jason. There are a couple of the more high-profile ones, and we featured them yesterday. We featured them in a standalone clip during the Bears-Packers game when the Packers were up 21-3 or whatever it was. When the Packers were up, they were being incredibly arrogant. They were being incredibly comfortable with their lead, as almost anybody who doesn't have Caleb Williams as their quarterback should be. But we got Caleb Williams. We're like 21-3. We're going to keep our mouth shut right now, but we don't think it's over. So I showed you that video of them being real arrogant. They're saying things like, Ben Johnson doesn't even, he wishes that they weren't so mean to him. Remember, they were mocking. Oh, they were so confident. And then we followed that up with a compilation of these guys going, why would you run the ball? Like watching their entire worlds implode. And it was really wonderful for me. And I would like thank you yet again for allowing me that indulgence. But we do have one more from those guys. Not entirely sure what this one is. Dustin Ray. Who is this? I don't know what these guys' names are. Let's watch them. Okay, here we go. By the way, the headline on this is the jokes just write themselves, don't they? Let's watch this. Again, these are Packer guys who watch games and then live stream their reaction to watching the games. It's Corey and Aaron. I'm sorry. I thought it was Corey and Jason. Here you go. Let's watch these two. Right now, it's currently 21-11 in the third. So, the Bears have scored a touchdown and then went for two, I guess. I don't know. Let's watch.
Jason Anderson, have you noticed Caleb always throws when he's going to his right?
So, yeah, I forgot about this. Okay, watch. Because they're football experts, these two. They're about to get real critical on Caleb Williams because they're experts and they know what he can and can't do and a bust. Of course, these are the same people who in about 40 minutes are going to be screaming that they're paying their quarterback $55 million a year and they can't believe it. But hey, let's watch this. Here you go. Again, the headline to this is the jokes just write themselves. Here we go.
Jason Anderson, have you noticed Caleb always throws when he's going to his right and pulls it down when going to his left?
Usually because he really stinks throwing.
All right, so these geniuses have figured out a tell in Caleb Williams' game that is going to just, allow the Green Bay Packers to defeat him his entire career. They're geniuses. They figured it out. Now, remember, Aaron, and I just cut it off, Aaron tags that with, well, that's because he sucks going to his left. Let's watch again. Again, it's not a long video, but it is funny.
Jason Anderson, have you noticed Caleb always throws when he's going to his right and pulls it down when going to his left?
Usually because he really stinks throwing to his left.
Scott Jacobs.
Have to get to the Green Bay 49.
Going to his left.
Chase
throws.
Throw
of the year. Throw of the year. Yeah, because he really stinks going to his left. Cut to throw of the year, Caleb Williams going to his left. One more time, just enjoy it for the full context now that you understand what's happening here. Look at the smug arrogance of these fucking Packer fans and understand why we hate them so much.
Jason Anderson, have you noticed Caleb always throws when he's going to his right and pulls it down when going to his left?
Usually because he really stinks throwing to his left.
Cut to.
Have to get to the Green Bay 49. Williams chase, throws, and it's caught.
There it is. All right. Very good.
4th and 8. Keeps it going.
Jason.
Okay, there you have it. Narrator voice. He, in fact, could throw to his left. Sons of bitches, Packer dorks. All right, the last thing that I want to do here is something that I've noticed that isn't being talked about because it's much more interesting to just, lean into the bullshit. And I have to admit that I thought the bullshit wasn't bullshit until I saw this. So what I'm talking about here is the relationship, which is all the sports world wants to talk about, at least the last couple of days. The relationship between Ben Johnson of the Chicago Bears and Matt LaFleur of the Green Bay Packers. Why do these two hate each other? What's going on there? Is it classy or classless that Ben Johnson just didn't even shake his hand? Remember, that was the big thing. Oh, I understand rivalries, but it is an ungentlemanly thing to not shake the hand, to do it the way Ben Johnson, it was all that bullshit. We heard it. It's all about moral grandstanding and all that shit. And I saw it happen live, and I was like, woohoo, that was quick. And why? Because we were tuned in. We were focused on the handshake because we know that Ben Johnson has openly said he doesn't really like Matt LaFleur. Actually, that's not true. I shouldn't state it that way. Ben Johnson has said that one of the things that he enjoys most is beating Matt LaFleur twice a year, something that he became accustomed to in Detroit. So when he said that as the new head coach of the Chicago Bears, it turned into a whole thing. Matt LaFleur was asked about the comments by Ben Johnson, to which Matt LaFleur responded on a podcast, "Who's that? I don't know who that is." Ooh, mean girl, right? So it's all of that going on between these guys. So after this game was over, we were all very interested to see how the handshake would go. Ben Johnson kind of runs past them, and the handshake, and the whole world went, what a classless act from an asshole. We did this earlier with the cop. We broke down some video to watch what's really going on. And I think I discovered something. I think I discovered something that completely flips the narrative on what was going on there during the handshake. And I would submit to you right now that I think it was Matt LaFleur who was the asshole. Yeah, how could I possibly say that? We've all seen it. Well, let's watch the video. Let's watch the video one more time, and I'm going to point out some things, and I believe this is from a different angle. I think this is a different camera than the one that we saw on TV. Yeah, okay, so here it is. So this is, let me get this down for you. Boop, boop. There we go. Okay, coming to us. There we are. All right. All right, let's just watch this. Okay. Now we're gonna focus on the handshake at the end of the game. But I believe this is it's a little video. What does this come from? Inside the NFL. Okay.
We protect the den. Let's go. We're in the den. We protect it.
Play for your brother. Play for that last name on the back of it. Play for that. Hey, the name of the Chicago Bears, bro. Hey, we destined for this. Yeah. Seize the moment, man.
We're gonna talk with these Bears tonight. These sacred fellas who in every blade of grass.
Love, fake to Wilson, rolling to his right, throwing to his right. caught into the end zone.
All right, wait, this is longer than I thought. We don't need all this. Let's just, we're going to jump forward.
The catch runs right up the sideline.
Let's get to the
7 seconds left.
All right, here it is. All right, so this is a different angle than what we saw in the game. This is a different angle of the handshake. And again, maybe the handshake that we saw on television live while it happened was that famous Hollywood angle that makes it look like something that actually didn't happen. Let's watch it from this angle, okay? Here we go.
3rd and 15, ball on the 28.
Again, the question that we're asking is, who was the asshole? Who was the asshole in this handshake situation? I submit to you that I think it might be Matt LaFleur.
Get his ass! Don't stay plastered. Go get him!
Love circles back, waiting to heave, still moving up. Now he throws to the end zone. Game is over. Game is over. The Bears.
All right. Now, this is where we need to watch it from. The game has just ended. There is absolute pandemonium, and this camera is going to follow Ben Johnson, okay? So we're going to watch it. It's going to follow him right to the handshake. We're going to see the whole thing.
Have come from all the way behind, and they beat the Green Bay Packers 31-27. This place is...
All right, look at him. He is pumped. He is just everybody. He is just shaking hands like that. He is hugging. Ben Johnson is a psycho, and he is pumped right here.
Is bonkers right now.
Here he goes. He's running. He's like, let's go. He's like running to meet his vanquished opponent at midfield to do the proverbial handshake. Let's go. Let's go. All right, here we go now. So he is running in one direction until he sees Matt LaFleur. Here's Matt LaFleur and some assistant or whatever. Apparently Matt felt he needed backup. He sees Matt LaFleur. He changes direction to run towards him. It's almost as if in the beginning he's just excited and he's looking around and he doesn't see him. And oh, there he is. So I'm now going to turn this way. So he is making the turn to approach Matt LaFleur. Let's watch it. Oh, shit.
Two-pointer come from all the way behind, and they beat the Green Bay Packers 31-27. This place is bonkers right now.
Man, this was starting to run, but wait, he's looking the other way, talking to people, yelling, let's go, sees Matt LaFleur. He now turns. All right, there we go. This is what I wanted to show you. Watch this. And it's going to happen real quick, and I'm going to freeze frame it, and you're going to see it.
This place is bonkers right now.
Catch it on time. All right, so here comes the approach. Here comes the approach. So at this point, Ben Johnson has turned his head and is now looking directly at Matt LaFleur. It looks like Matt LaFleur is also possibly looking at Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is extending his hand. He is going to make this quick. He is not going to have it be some meeting at center. No, he's going to run up. He's going to shake his hand. Good game, run off, celebrate with his players, because this is, after all, the biggest Chicago Bears playoff win ever. Right? So crazy shit is happening. Matt LaFleur is probably really upset right now. The guy that's in the fucking pissy mood is probably Matt LaFleur, not Ben Johnson. Here comes the handshake. Now, this is a problem because Nahshon Wright gets in the way here, so we don't see this. We don't see it clearly. All right, here we go. Right here. Ben Johnson is leaning in and shaking his hand, and his head looks to be in the direction of Matt LaFleur. What is Matt LaFleur doing? Matt LaFleur is extending his hand to shake and then looking off in the distance. Like, fuck you, whatever. That is what Matt LaFleur is doing here. There he is right here. Ben is looking at him. Matt is not making eye contact. This is a bullshit functionary handshake. Matt, or Ben, ran up to him, was like, obviously he's excited. This guy is the one being pissy. You know how I know that Matt LaFleur is not looking at him? Because this guy is. And they are looking in two completely different directions. Whoever this guy is making eye contact with Ben Johnson, whose head is turned this way, probably looking at Matt LaFleur, who is greeting the handshake with whatever. That's what happened here. But no, it's Ben Johnson. He came in too fucking fast. In this moment, Matt LaFleur was the bitch. Matt LaFleur is the one that's like, okay. I mean, it only makes sense. Matt LaFleur is the one who's humiliated. Matt LaFleur is the one who's all up in his feelings. Ben Johnson is ecstatic. You don't want to fight right now. All right, good game, coach. And he wants to move on. But no, For the last couple of days, we've heard about what an asshole Ben Johnson is, and I am here to tell you it is Matt LaFleur right here in this moment that is doing something rude. When somebody shakes your hand, you make eye contact with them, even momentarily. You know, man, good to see you. That's the classy thing. You don't look off in the distance like, okay. So there you have it. See, I've broken it down. And now you know the truth.
After they won their last playoff game, Ben Johnson brought belief into that building at Harris Hall. Bears are going to the divisional round, baby.
Yeah, he does. Look, he's a fucking maniac. He's out of control. He's not looking to fight Matt LaFleur. He just got body checked by Roma Dunze and did a complete flip on the field. They had to pick him up, put his hat back on him, and he ran off. This guy is not looking to be an asshole in this moment. This is one of the best moments of his coaching career. This narrative that Ben Johnson was like, yeah, fuck you, is totally wrong. Matt LaFleur is the one who came in with the pissy attitude and refused to make eye contact and was looking off into the distance. That's what I see. And I don't think I'm wrong.
I do.
All right, there you go. Anyway, I hope that ends that nonsense. We're all running around. Hey, where'd my phone go? Where's my phone? Oh, there we go. Hold on, what's going on? All right, I got no other good stuff. All right, I got nothing else. All right, that's it, guys. I think we're done. I think we're done with today's show. The sun is really fucking me up later in the show here. Yeah, I got to run out of here anyway. I forgot I got to do that. All right. One more time, I want to thank our executive producer of today's show, the incredible and the always helpful Maddie. Maddie is our executive producer today. There you go. Maddie, thank you so much. Guys, we're still about $200 behind the wheel. We got to fucking get some help here. If you guys haven't tipped the show, you don't support this kind of talk, then, you know, you got to do it in other ways. You got to share. You got to forward. You got to bring a friend. Bring a friend into the chat room. Pugs, nobody who hangs out in chat rooms have friends. That's why they're in a chat room, to meet friends. Well, that might be the flaw in my plan. Help the show any way you can. Help us grow it. Help it like Maddie did. If you would like to help in the most effective way, I would say that is cash considerations. Drop a little something in either the Cash App or the Venmo at your leisure. Doesn't have to be now. I can tell you, Venmo's open 24 hours. So if you think about it, help us out. And that would be great. We do this every single day at noon. We try to do talk radio from a very normal person perspective. We don't follow whatever the different political parties want us to do. No, we're just out here. Started a rough show today. Started out rough. Had some technical problems here in the beginning. Let me see what we got here. Well, let me see who shared the show. Let me see who among you chatters who are my friends in the chat room. Let's see who shared the show. Oh, Frankie. First of all, Frank Smith. Frankie, you need to be thanked. You need to be sincerely thanked. Frank Smith likes everything. Frank Smith participates in everything that I post. Frank Smith is the number one dude out there that is helping the algorithm. Thank you, Frank. And then Frank posted me a funny little story here on TMZ that I am certain we will talk about tomorrow. I promise you that. The headline is Ronald Reagan, attempted assassin John Hinckley Jr., believes that he turned Jodie Foster lesbian. We'll get into that tomorrow. That'll be fun. Anybody share the show? No. There you go. Barney did. Barney's the man. Thank you, Barney. April did. April's awesome. Yeah, that's about it. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. It's the least you can do. We'll be back tomorrow. With more of this nonsense. We're going to keep doing it until we just can't possibly do it anymore. And tomorrow is not that day. So good on us. I got nothing else. I love you guys. There you go. Al's like on Facebook. You know, I shouldn't have been an asshole there. I shouldn't have just talked about Twitter. Twitter was easy. So I just What the fudge? I just got a weird text from my mom. Remember I told you about an hour ago my mom was here? Yeah, she's gone. She left. She left. She had a medical procedure and she was here just kind of taking it easy and she left. She just sent me something. My mom just texted me. They're at a restaurant and they want to know if I want something or if I want to come by and have dinner with them. But here's the thing. It came up on my phone. It didn't come up on, like, in my phone. She's mom. It just says mom. But for some reason, this text from her came up MOMIUZUZ7 just 700M me JL. The fuck? I mean, normally when my mom texts me, it says mom. Why suddenly? I hate technology. You know me, I hate technology. I don't know what's going on here. But once again, I told you, because of the more accusatory tones that I've been taking in my political discussions lately, if this is all part of something that has me end up in handcuffs, you just know I didn't do nothing. That's weird. I love you guys. We'll talk tomorrow. Bye.